Darlington, where Martin Truex Jr. dominated and got his third win of the season. What do you guys think of Truex and many of his Toyota teammates seeming to show the way pretty much from start to finish?
That was the first race I think we've had all year where I felt like it was finally dominated. So it was kind of, in a weird way, refreshing to see that.
Yeah, it was like 2018 vibes, basically. Like, you had the big three up there, but then some of them had problems, and then there's like a ton of parity throughout the field. But when it came to first position, oh, yeah, I don't think we're up.
Yeah, it's not up.
Yeah, I don't think we're up, Eric. Yeah, it's just like looking, it's just lagging.
Showing live, showing perfectly smooth on my end. I've got no blips.
Oh, well, now it's good on
mine.
Now
we're popping up.
Yeah, now we're popping up. So it's like one of those late, just refresh, guys. But
yeah, hold on.
I think we're good now.
That's a YouTube thing, because if it's fine on OBS and your internet's fine, then
I haven't had any.
It's pretty good on my phone here.
Yeah,
See, it's good on my phone now. But dang, freaking YouTube, always messing up.
So what y'all miss?
Yeah, so should we just like
I'm just going to play the intro again. We'll be back.
We got the nicest spot this lap.
3 wide and deep.
This is like a damn plate race. Yeehaw, baby. 3 with no help. Push him up. Race all the way back, baby. We got this.
Real man.
Awesome job, dude. Awesome job.
Let's go. Let's go. Oh, my God.
We got a champion. Yes. Way good start, boys. Yeah.
And we're back. I don't know what the heck just happened. Apparently, all my systems, all my little flashing lights here were all perfectly green. I was not speeding on pit road, so I don't know what happened there, but we had a little false start, I guess, on YouTube.
That is YouTube. Yeah, YouTube
so
glitches sometimes like that.
Welcome to the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. We are on my channel this week, barring any further technical difficulties. As I was mentioning earlier, we're going to be talking all things Darlington Throwback Weekend. Martin Truex Jr. dominates. We're going to talk about the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, what its future may hold, what its immediate future may hold. We'll talk about Dover. We'll give you guys our picks for this coming weekend's events, and a whole lot more, plenty more in between. So thank you all for being here. Let's kick things off. Danny, you were talking a little bit about Martin Truex Jr. before our internet glitch there, about how it was nice to see, in a way, it was nice to see someone dominate, which we haven't really seen at all this season.
Yeah, exactly. It was kind of unique because that was the first time that I feel like a race where the person who dominated it was the actual person who ended up winning it.
Yeah.
I was saying, like, before the glitch, like, it was a throwback to those 2018 days with the big three, and at first they were up there 1, 2, 3, but then a few of them had some problems. There was a lot of parity throughout the field, but when it came to just first position, Truex had that on lock. Stage 1, stage 2, and wins, like, that's flashes of his 2017 championship seasons to me, immediately. And then not only is he the first multiple time winner this year, and he's the only one, but 3 wins to everyone's 1, that's definitely got to set you apart in terms of being a championship favorite.
See, the thing for me is it didn't feel like Truex was even dominating that much for me, because I was invested with the way the rest of the race was going. Now, yeah, Fox covered it bad at first at different points. We can argue that later, but the racing through the pack, the strategy during the race, I thought it was a really good race. I didn't think it was bad. Hold on, I got this cough drop.
I just needed to take a cough here. So is this cough drop,
dude? I've been having this really bad sore throat all week. So
is it as bad as the Bristol 2019 sore throat? Or
hell no, it's not
okay.
Probably had COVID and you didn't even know it back then.
Oh yeah, maybe that was the COVID before COVID.
It was August. It was late August of 2019, but now that I've gotten the cough drop out of the way, we can meme cough drop in the chat.
Need a cough drop emoji.
Yeah. We do. We really do. Anyway, back to what I was saying. It felt like a more competitive race than the numbers will allow. I can't remember who said it after the race. I think it was Denny Hamlin, who said that it's like, yeah, the numbers aren't going to show it, but this was like a really fun race for the drivers. Mm-hmm. And that's something that whether you love or hate this race, you can't deny that the drivers were on edge the entire day. Truex, he was basically waving at the infield every time he left the corner, and he was the best car out there. So I like that. I want more of that. I know a lot of fans didn't like it for, given reasons, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But I want more of that. That was really fun. the last 2-3 years, Darlington for me, because I've never been a huge Darlington fan until the past couple of years, but Darlington has just gotten better with age. I think the surface is at a perfect point right now. It's been 13 years since the last repave, and it's just aged perfectly, I think, compared to a lot of other repaves at the time.
Yeah, it's definitely in its prime for sure. Like you said, man, Truex, obviously the most dominant car, was out front by a freaking, he had a freaking 12-second lead at one point. I was like, dang. So yeah, this is truly dominant. But it's like you said, I mean, a lot of parity in the midfield and stuff, and also within the top 10. Danny's boy Alex Bowman has the worst luck too, and thank goodness he got that win, Danny, because
man, I am relieved. Like the rest of the season has sucked.
Like I find it funny. People, they're starting to say Chase Elliott is Hendrick Motorsports wink wink, but I'm like, dude, he's still at least consistent. Like Bowman, he just got that win, and now he's like out of harm's way, I guess. But really, the point here is that you saw a lot of comers and goers, but what was the most fun to watch to me is that you could tell these guys were clearly on the edge, trying to maneuver these cars through these tight corners here with this, high horsepower, low downforce package. And then, you see some of the reactions on Twitter where some people are saying, oh, this will be the greatest race ever. And then some people are like, this is the worst race. Like, dude, this is basically, this was a normal average race from like 2006 to me here. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you had your comers and goers here. And again, what was most important was that the drivers could use the best of their talents to maneuver through the field and also, use some of their equipment to their advantage as well. And that's truly to me what NASCAR is. This whole slot car racing deal, like we got to get away from that. Now, I know this new car is promoting like some things where it's like, it's going to be, less horsepower, on some cases, and maybe some high downforce. Like we might end up having 3 different packages for like the, for our different venues or whatever. But as long as we keep driver talent as like, one of the most important factors to being a successful NASCAR driver, rather than just like, hey, let me stay in line, get in this draft, I think we're heading in the right direction.
I have a lot I want to say. I feel like we've touched on 4 different facets of this race. So to begin with, yes, it was a welcome return to what we all grew up watching NASCAR, where the cars were hard to drive, and Darlington's always been kind of, if not one of the most difficult ovals to get around quick. And so you saw, you put it back truly in the driver's hands, and the people who ran up front were arguably the best 4 or 5 NASCAR drivers that existed. It was Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, even Kevin Harvick had his car in the top 5 all day long. Kyle Larson closing at the end there. Like the best drivers in NASCAR ran up front, which I think is what most fans should want to see. I think fans are torn between wanting to see the best drivers succeed, a la 2018 when everyone complained about the big 3, or they want to see parity, which means sometimes Michael McDowell will sneak into 4th, even though we all know he's not the 4th best driver in NASCAR. So I think fans are a bit split, which is why you saw such split conversation on Twitter. I tweeted, and doesn't necessarily apply to this race, but I tweeted that a boring race with the 750 package with car slipping and sliding is more fun to watch than a boring race with the slot car package. That isn't to say that this Darlington race was necessarily boring. I think this race was slightly above average, kind of like you guys said. It was a very typical NASCAR race from the mid-2000s. I agree with that. I think that was very, very accurate. Had a little bit of a lot of things. But at the same time, I will also concede that last year's Darlington races, at least 2, because they raced there 3 times last year, at least 2 of last year's Darlington races might have been more entertaining. You had some dramatic finishes, like when Truex tried that slide job on Elliott for the win, and they wrecked them both. And then when Elliott got wrecked by Kyle, Elliott was just a punching bag at Darlington last year. But you had those dramatic moments. You didn't really have any of those in this race, aside from Larson's ballsy 3-wide middle move, which was maybe the hottest thing I've seen all season. So I'll give him that. You can't do that with the slot car package. I'll give him that.
Hey, what are you talking about? You had Stewart-Haas Racing leave their mark. They left their mark.
Well, they did in a negative way. It wasn't hot. That was depressing, if anything. But so I'm trying to cover all my bases here. But yeah, I think this is low downforce, or not necessarily low downforce, but harder to drive in the sense that the cars can step out from under you at any given point. That is the direction I think most fans want NASCAR to head. That's where all the drivers want NASCAR to go towards. And sometimes you're going to get a butt kicking. Martin Truex Jr. is known for doing this from time to time. There's nobody. I don't think there's anybody in the Cup Series better at just dominating when they have the best car. Like, other drivers may have the best car, but Denny Hamlin will speed on pit road. Kevin Harvick's pit crew will leave a lug nut loose. The 19 team Truex, doesn't matter who the crew chief is apparently.
Flawless.
When they have the best car, no mistakes, they execute, they run away to 12-second leads like you say.
Yeah.
So I don't mind seeing a butt kicking from time to time, and I wouldn't blame the package for it in this case. Truex could have done that with the 550 package as well.
He really is becoming one of the favorites there. He started winning there back in when did he win his first one there? Was it
2016, right? I think it was 2016.
Darlington,
Maybe.
where?
He won at Darlington. Was it 16 or 17 he won his first
Might have
one?
been 16, maybe.
No, it was 17. It was
17.
17.
Oh, okay.
He won his first
17.
one there, and I think it was the auto owner's car.
They're saying
And-
2016 in the chat.
Well, yeah, I thought it was 2016.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was 16. Yeah, he won
Those
it
years, I'm
16.
so, those years wash together. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Like that,
Yeah.
that was one thing from 2015 through about the first half of 2018. They just
yeah.
washed together. For
They
me.
said he won 16 and he almost won 17, but something happened to him and Hamlin got around and won in 17.
Oh yeah, he had like a blown tire or something. I don't
And
know.
Last year looked like he would have won that one, and the thing happened with Elliott. So he is becoming one of the Darlington favorites, honestly.
See, some of these people, they were crazy. Like after Cole Pern had left, they were like, "Oh, Truex is his career is over. He was just carried by Cole Pern." Well, no. Now he's
I
starting
think it was.
to carry
I think
this
it was
guy.
valid. I think it was a valid thought at the time. I mean, I had that thought. I mean,
I think we on this podcast talked about it a little bit
Yeah.
because he went
Yeah,
from
a little
winning 4,
bit.
5, 6, 8 races a year to winning only once.
I guess when
last
I'm,
year.
I'll rephrase that. Like, I don't know, like some people expected like him to just decline automatically, like he wouldn't be like a play. Like I'm like, oh, that's too much.
I mean, I won't go that far, but there were reasons to think that. I mean, his age, he is definitely one of the older drivers out there. He had never shown his true potential aside from with Cole Pern. I think it just shows nowadays a more experienced driver and a more matured driver.
And it's also worth noting James Small studied under Cole Pern for many years, so I think he is still getting good cars. But that's not. I don't want it to sound like we're taking things away from Truex. I think we all can
to
agree
me,
no.
he's a top
Yeah,
5 driver.
Yeah, to me, Martin Truex Jr. is like a finer version of a Sterling Marlin type driver. You know, not going to have much success early in your career, but then now he's starting to take it to new heights. Now.
I think of Truex like this. So, like, if you're gonna, like, so I'll say you grade a driver overall, I'd give Truex like a 95. Like, more often than
That's
not,
his 2K
gonna,
rating.
well, just like let's go.
Madden
Well, I'm
overall.
just saying like this. Like he's a 95, but like you know how like Madden has potential. He has a potential of like a 99 to 100. He always has, it's a very high ceiling, very low basement. He's consistently good. Whereas somebody like say Kyle Busch, I'd say his rating is higher than Truex's.
He was always on 100 potential, though.
But I think at this point in their careers, Kyle Busch has. I mean, he's shown it, so this isn't
got a
too,
lower
too much
basement.
out there.
Yeah,
he
he's
does.
lower-
he has a much lower base. I mean, even before
Streaky.
this happened, even before 2015, if you look at about 2012 to 2014, Kyle Busch, he was a good driver, but he was in the same range that somebody right now like Christopher Bell is in. He's getting a lot out of his equipment. It's where the equipment should run, but he ain't winning all the time. And I think that's where like Truex was before. And I think that right now at this point of his career is Truex's basement. Whereas Kyle Busch's basement is like a 12th to 13th place driver.
Oh,
Like, so what I'm
Once
saying,
Truex hit his second round of Toyota, he became someone entirely different.
yeah. And what I'm saying is like, if we're looking big picture championship wise, Truex is going to be up there. He's been up there like every year for what, like 5-6 years.
yeah,
Like,
since 2015, man.
he's
He's
good.
been consistent.
If you're going to win, you have to go through him in some way. And I think right now he's showing why, he's showing that again, why that is. But I think he's showing why he could be considered the championship favorite. I mean, he's not as consistent as Hamlin, but he wins more.
Yeah, that's certainly my championship favorite.
He's definitely a driver who's like a wine. It's terrible when it first opened up, but as it sits there for a while, it's gotten better of age.
See,
I
this
like
is
that. I like that.
This is crazy. 10 winners in the first 12 races of 2021, and he's won 3 of them. So like, dang, like nobody else can compete with that 19 team at the moment.
No, he's clearly set himself apart. And like you said, Jared, about Truex not having that low of a basement, even last year when we all started to think he was on the decline, winning only 1 race, he still made the round of 8 with a brand new rookie crew chief. So
He's still good. He was
That
still
just
good.
mainly just adjusting to the system changing. Now the system is there and it's back running.
And also, we were in the middle of a freaking pandemic, the delay and stuff like that, all under a freaking rookie crew chief. Like,
I imagine there will be a little bit of a fall off next year, just adjusting to the new car, but it's not going to take real long either.
Yeah. So speaking of fall offs,
We've talked about Stewart-Haas Racing had kind of a night and day performance. Kevin Harvick, I thought, ran really well. Chase Briscoe managed, I think, to finish 11th. So credit to the rookie Chase Briscoe, who ran great in the Xfinity Series here last year. But the other two SHR cars were responsible for two of the biggest incidents of the day. Cole Custer, it wasn't his fault. It was not his fault. I forget who it was that spun out in front of him.
Alfredo, I think, kind of got loose.
Can we just go back to what you just said there, Eric? You said Harvick ran kind of well, but this is Kevin Harvick. This is someone who won 9 races last year. This is somebody who won this race the last one of the he won one of the 2 races. He won in the spring too.
Yeah, he did.
He won here 2 times last year, and we're now what are we 12 races in now? Are we 11? Something
12,
like that.
yeah.
We're 12 races in, and I can't. Maybe there's been one where he'd come up close, but I can't really recall one where I felt like Kevin Harvick is in contention to win this race.
So at Kansas, he finished second to KFB.
But
he wasn't
like
there.
It was happen.
Yeah, no, it just was like a last second deal. But yeah, like he was up front. But I mean, it was funny. I was about to tweet like, "Hey, Kevin Harvick's really putting them on their backs, like attaboy." And then at that same moment before I press send, Almirola in the wall. I'm like, holy
lap 6.
I know. 6. And in the Mark Martin retro scheme too. Like, dude, this is just horrible, man. This is just an awful season for that team. I fully believe in my mind they've got to be saving something for the next gen. They've got to be like, I feel like, dude, there's no way there's this
either that or the past couple of years they've been outperforming their equipment. I haven't taken a look back at the past couple of years just because I haven't thought of it, but I would be curious.
I don't think it's that, because I definitely feel like the equipment was there, because that year in 2018, every single driver on Stewart-Haas got a win.
Yeah,
but I would be very curious to look at comparisons of 2018 to 2021 Stewart-Haas Racing with 2015 to 2018 Hendrick Motorsports. I'd be really curious to see how those numbers line up, because there's always going to be one that's good. Harvick is that one, and now the rest are falling off. So I haven't. I'll take a look at that probably after the show, but I would be very interested to see how they line up between each ranked driver of like who the best, worst, whatever.
They're just tanking for draft picks. Someone in the chat said that. I think that's probably
they're
what their
tanking for performance on the next gen. I'm gonna believe that.
Tanking for Tua.
Yeah,
they keep tanking like this, and they're going to be looking for replacements in the 10 and 41.
Like Eric Estep in his review video on Sunday pointed this out. Rouse
Thanks for using
Racing.
my full name.
We're on his channel, so I have to be all official, basically. So basically,
okay, Darian Gilliam, please tell us what Eric Estep said.
See, I was like going
AKA
through my
Black
little
Flags
reporter
Matter.
thing. Yeah, but no. So basically, like he pointed out that Rouse Racing. I mean, both P9 and 10, both of them got a top 10, man, and then only one Stewart-Haas car gets a top 10 out of their 4. Oh, it is rough, man.
I'm trying to pull up where Almirola is in the standings. He's still 28th, but that gap to 16th. Let's not even think about that. He's not getting there. Continues to get wider and wider and wider. It stood out to me afterwards in his post medical center interview. He kind of said, "Oh, it's just our season, just bad luck." This wasn't bad luck.
I pray we get it turned around.
He can pray all he wants. All I know is this wreck was not bad luck. He got loose, had a car underneath him, and it's their fault they were starting in the rear anyways, because remember, they failed inspection. So it's not just the drivers messing up. It is the team. It's just everywhere. They're trying to find that edge that they lost between last year and this year, so that's causing them to push the envelope, and it's just spiraling out of control. I have a new microphone, so I'm not in a different position than usual. It's spiraling out of control, so I don't know. You hate to see it.
Trying to guess Eric's middle name, by the way.
Yeah, they're trying to guess it because this is your last name. Yeah, like I feel like Eric Almirola.
Do y'all know my middle name?
No,
I think you said it once.
I've probably
but I
said
forgot.
it once. We'll save it for later.
But like Eric Almirola's fall off this year, I'd really have to compare it like a season starting off this bad. Like I think he's like below 30th in the standings now. Like he's officially outside the top 30 now, I think, or like damn near close to it. Like the last guy I can remember having this start bad of a year is like Fabio Labonte in 2005. But like he wasn't coming off of like a really stellar year. Like Almirola, for his standards, last year was a pretty good year, made the playoffs and all in Stewart-Haas equipment. But now it's like he can't find anything, and no luck at all. And then, this case, last weekend it wasn't luck, it was like purely it. But yeah, it's a tough deal.
I know we're going to talk, we have maybe a little more Cup to talk about, but I want to slightly transition to the Xfinity Series while we're on this SHR topic, because we can complain, or not complain, but talk about how their present day driver lineup team, whatever it is not performing. Their future doesn't look great either, because Riley Herbst driving that 98 car that ran fantastic at Darlington last year, ran 25th. For much of the Xfinity years.
Yes.
Ran outside the top 20. It was
you're
sad. They did a side-by-side
side
commercial break where they just stayed on Herbst's onboard, and the whole commercial break, it was just past. Jeremy Clements going by. Joe Graff Jr. going by.
Joe Graff Jr., no.
If you're trying to tell me you're going to take out either Custer or Almirola for him, I'm just saying, just re-sign him. Just re-sign him.
Gosh.
They may not have a choice. I mean, Custer's good. I think Custer will figure it out. Almirola's the one I'm like, I don't know.
You know, if I'm Stuart Haas, someone I'd actually start turning my attention to. I don't know if he's really got an enjoyment of where he's at currently, but Ricky Stenhouse has proven he might be ready for a chance of another team.
Like, anything's like better than what they currently have right now at the moment. Like, everything seems like more positive. But here's the thing with Eric Almirola, though, like, he still brings that Smithfield money. So like, people are like, oh, they'll just get rid of him. I'm like,
but they've went down. They decreased their sponsorship, so it's not like
that is true.
Completely done deal the way that like Shell is now for Logano.
Yeah. So I mean, he still brings some funding though, not as much as he used to. So I'm like, I don't know if they'll be as hesitant to get rid of him or not.
I started, going back to the Herbst stuff. I started watching the race a little late. I was outside doing some yard work, and so I was listening on the radio, and. Man, I mean, at first I heard it's like he started towards the front, and I just hear and they're like, and everybody is passing Riley Herbst, and here's the thing. Well, here's the thing. I'm like, I wasn't surprised. I was expecting it. Like I was, and when I went in, I'm like, okay, he's probably like what 20th, maybe like an 18th, 19th, 27th.
Yeah, it was bad, bro. It was bad. And then what was even worse is like they posted like the way the car looked on social media, and like he obviously got his a few Darlington stripes, as they call it, and like the replies are just like, well, that's not good. He wasn't running for like a top position. It was like he was just trying to control his stuff. Like, so they were just hammering him in the thread, man.
I think he got moved up too quick. I mean, for however fast he needed to go.
He never even ran a full truck schedule.
Never.
Yeah. And I feel like
funding will do wonderful things.
Well, we could have all seen it coming. That's the thing, and that's the downside to a lot of ways. I think that's the downside for a lot of paid drivers, as we want to call them, because I think we can call them that if we're going by the definition of fans have. Yeah, is that they can get paid their way up, but
if you don't perform, everyone's gonna come at you.
It's gonna stunt
it just bothers me that Ty Gibbs is going out in a blank 54 car when he could have Monster on the hood, but instead they're running 25th.
Can we talk a minute about Ty Gibbs?
Yeah.
Always.
Oh my God. Seriously, he was like, if it wasn't for those 2 speeding penalties,
and for almost getting wrecked on that restart, I think so too. He's
the real deal.
Contender. First time to Darlington. With no practice. Crazy.
Before that second caution, he was running down the 2 leaders like a tenth a lap and was less than a second from him with like, what was it, like 30 to go, 20 to go? I can't remember how many it was. And I'm like, geez. And I'm like, yeah, people could say he's a rich kid, but the dude just like, he's earned it.
That's the thing.
He's earned it.
He's earned it,
He's one of those drivers. He could be named Todd Blue or something like that.
What have you thought about that?
He'd still be a great driver.
Yeah.
What about Todd Green?
Todd Green.
Oh, he's terrible.
Sure. I know.
Park him.
He's just a natural talent, man. Just put him in anything, and he just runs up front, man.
I literally could not think of a last name. So I looked at my microphone. There was the word blue looking right at me. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. Paid driver, just because you're quote unquote paid driver, same with the word gimmick. I don't think that automatically is a negative thing. Paid drivers, is
they bring funding. You know what I mean? But like,
be good. There can be talented paid drivers. Like let's be like Joey Logano came from money early on to get his start in racing, but he was really really good, and then got other people's attention. A
lot of the greats they come from money as well too. It's just like it's just the negative side of that is that people want to see people make it in motorsports on merit, but the thing is that rarely happens. So like when they don't perform, then they
in all reality, racing nowadays, even at a local level, You gotta have money to do this.
Yes.
You're not poor in being a race car driver.
Dude, even a freaking skid plate race, it's like a lot to me. Like I would go skid plate racing just for fun if I could, just because that's funny. But
So,
I mean, it costs money too.
The argument for being a rich kid becoming a race car driver is kind of out the window when you kind of need money to get into sport in the first place.
Yeah, so like it's only used though when a guy's not doing good. That's it. When a guy or gal's not doing good, then everyone's like, oh, it comes from daddy, all this stuff. Like, so that's just the other side of it, unfortunately.
I'm looking forward to Todd Blue's first NASCAR Cup Series start. Really quick, we'll talk a little more about the Xfinity race. We'll talk about the winner. We'll also talk about Fox basically ignoring Dale Jr.'s life work. And then we'll talk about the truck race a tiny bit as well. But Jarrett, do you have the playoff grid pulled up, or did I put you on the spot?
No, I was just looking. I'd forgotten to take out the fact that Gregson won the Dash for Cash when he actually didn't.
He got reinstated. Yeah.
It did. When did that come out?
Like
today.
right before we went live.
Yeah.
Okay, because like I looked at Bob Pockrass's Twitter like an hour before we went live, and they're like, "No news still." Okay, so he did win it.
Yeah, he did.
There you go.
Got it back.
So,
I got the playoffs right here.
Yeah, fill us in with the Cup Series playoff grid.
I don't have to list off the winners, do I?
And no, we all know who's
No, we know
at the top.
who they are. Yeah.
okay, you can tell when Rusty's paying attention to pin.
You can kind of put Denny Hamlin in there as a winner, sort of. He's already locked in.
Well, how many points ahead is Hamlin? Do you have that number? I want to know.
Let me do a little mental math here. Let's see. Carry the 2, and then 32 added 2. Okay, so holy Jesus. If my math is right, which it very well may not be, so someone needs to check me out on this one. I want to say 261 points.
That's a lot of points.
That's a lot of points, and he's had a few ruffled races too.
I could get I could cash those in for a few free sandwiches if I wanted to. That's a lot of points.
Jeez.
I'm gonna double check this just to be sure,
just to be sure.
Just to be sure, because I trust myself, but not that much. Yeah, I'm right.
Oh, there you go.
Nice. Oh, yeah, a little smug, like, I got that
right.
Feeling himself.
Now ask me to do an algebra problem, and I'll probably fail at that. Anyway, after that, there's Kevin Harvick. He's up by over 100. Same with Chase Elliott. After that, 14th, Austin Dillon. He is up by 48.
Look at
looks
Dillon.
Nice.
Quiet, consistent.
This guy I am rooting for to make the playoffs just off of performance. Now that I've said that, I probably cursed him. But 15th is Chris Buescher.
Another top 10. I'm telling you, that wasn't a fluke when he won that stage at Homestead. That wasn't a fluke. He's coming for your money, boys.
Well, and we talked about this like back when he signed it first with Roush. It's like maybe down the line he could bring it back.
It's a late bloomer now. It's a late bloomer though.
Newman put the 6th car in the playoffs in 2019. So when Buescher took over last year, I thought I might make the playoffs last year, and then they just sucked. But
I really wonder if Chris Buescher, he's still plenty young, going to be racing for a while. And I really wonder when Newman eventually decides to finally hang it up to retire. They have no development program with Roush. There's not really much of a well, aside from maybe Deegan, there's not really much of a true Ford developmental plan going on right now. They might be better off when Newman's finally done just going to one car and using all of their stuff to make one good car.
Yeah, or I mean, you can look at the other side. Maybe with some of these like Ford drivers coming up through the ranks, maybe Roush might revive. I don't know. You never know. So you can see on both sides.
Hey, Trevor Bain's still around. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, how's he doing in his coffee shop too, man?
I don't know. I need to actually go out. I need to actually go to the coffee shop one day.
I need to go do. I need to do that too.
If it wasn't so far away, we'd go do that before the Nashville trip, but it is too far away.
I gotta shake his hand and be like, "Hi, sir. I made a buzz video about you. Can I buy some coffee?"
And then Matt Benedetto and Tyler Reddick, they're tied right now on the cut line. Stenhouse 18th, he's minus 19. Newman minus 22. Kurt Busch minus 28.
That's a surprise.
Oh, only minus 28. Damn.
I'll just look for some relevant ones. Bubba's now up to 21st. Chastain 22nd. Suarez 23rd.
Wait, Bubba gained? He gained a spot? He gained a spot in the standings?
21st, yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Almirola is starting to fall behind the rest of the competitive pack. He is currently 20 points behind Eric Jones and just about 40 points over Anthony Alfredo.
He's behind Eric Jones. Oh, no.
He's less than a full race ahead of Anthony Alfredo at this point.
Oh, no. And nothing against Eric Jones. He's just not in the same equipment as he was last year. Oh my, no.
Well, to be fair, I'm looking through the numbers right now, and there is, aside from Kevin Harvick, the second highest SHR car in points. Anyone want to take a stab at this one? It ain't Eric Almirola, so you got two options.
I'm gonna say Briscoe after 11th
I'm
place.
gonna say
Briscoe.
Y'all all right? It's
Yeah.
Briscoe.
Yeah.
He is currently, let's see, 6 points ahead of Custer.
But
Nice.
Claudia made this point. Like, I feel like this was the first time all season where we felt like we've seen Briscoe like at all.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
With Stuart Haas, it's been like, okay, Harvick is there, and then the rest of them have been hiding, except for Almirola because he's always crashing, so you always see him.
Yeah. The other two, Custer and Briscoe, they're usually forgettable, but like obviously you saw Custer this week for all the wrong reasons. But I mean, Briscoe, it was finally good to see him up there. Like he was in the top 5 at one point in the race. I was like, what? He's up there? Like, whoa, like okay. So he's starting to make some improvements.
Don't get me wrong, we kind of like talk bad about Almirola, but personally, like I do like Almirola, and I wish it was working out better for him. But unfortunately, if I see him, it's because he's crashing. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
Oh, there was another funny part we forgot to mention when Bubba was blocking Truex trying to get that stay on the lead lap.
And he still failed.
Yeah,
I know.
I think Truex was kind of cutting him a break, and then he was like, "Nah, this." And
then Kurt Busch passed him coming out of turn 4, and that was all for naught.
I felt like in Truex's head, he's probably mad on the radio. Let's be honest, but I feel like in his head, he's like, "All right, kid, like I've had it. That's enough. I'm going."
That sounds like something Truex would say. Ah, kid, dang it, kid, like Sully from Uncharted.
Well, he told him, like, hey, get his head together. You better tell him to get his head together.
Now, really quick, thank you, FanRan10, for the $100 Canadian super chat.
$100 Canadian dollars.
We will get to all the super chats in a short while, but I wanted to give this one some special attention because, my God. He says, do you think it's fair for Cup champions to drop down to the lower series? I feel it's unfair for Kyle Busch to drop down and most likely win, and also get the lay of the land and have the best setup going into the main race. What are your opinions?
Hey,
I think
I'm
at
all
this
for it.
point, there's no sense in arguing it, and NASCAR has done a great job of like limiting them and making it where they don't earn the points. So honestly, at this point, it is all fair, and for a lot of cases like Kyle Busch to attract sponsorship, it is fair to have your team owner, your star attraction, to be able to run a few races with those sponsors.
Yeah, I'm with Danny on this one too. I grew up, I started watching NASCAR 2004, 2005ish. So like basically, I grew up when the Busch series was like at an all-time low in terms of like Busch regulars winning on a weekly basis. So like from 2005 to 2006, there was only like a few, a handful of drivers that I can think off the top of my head winning that were Busch series regulars. The rest were basically just Cup guys or bushwhackers as they called them back in my day. So basically like, if it's nothing like that, then like I'm fine with lower guys. And like Danny just said, there's like so many restrictions now to like limit the drivers and they even limit them where they can't even run during the playoffs, right?
Yeah, like during special, like
that's perfect. That's perfect in my opinion. It's a perfect deal.
I think some of the restrictions are good. I think, at the same time, I know a lot of Xfinity and Truck Series drivers like racing against them from time to time. It really gives them a chance to see where they stack up. And I will say this year, Kyle Busch has not dominated in a lot of the races he's gone down. His driver, John Hunter's beat him a couple times in trucks straight up. So it's been more competitive lately.
See, John Hunter to me is just another Cup driver, but that's funny.
I like it how it is now.
Yeah.
I think having a few like restrictions is good, but I wouldn't want them completely kicked out. It's kind of funny. People always brought up back then. It's like, yeah, y'all hate it when Joey Logano and Kyle Busch are going down, but you ain't saying anything about Carl Edwards or Dale Jr. or Tony Stewart coming down and winning like once a year on the regular. You ain't saying anything about that. So I think having them down there a bit is better. I think the ratings the past couple of years have proven that, in a lot of ways that the Xfinity series right now, at least, and the very least, is it seems like the competition and viewership is healthier now than it was before they put them in.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, let's move on briefly, talk a little bit more about the Xfinity series. We already talked about some of the maybe the lowlights from the Xfinity. Or we talked about Ty Gibbs standing out, even though he finished like 16th and killed his average finish. Got to watch those speeding penalties, man.
It's
But
not 2.3 anymore. It's like what?
Justin Allgaier got the win in that gorgeous Tasmanian Devil throwback scheme. Is that his second win of the season? I
Yep,
believe?
he won Atlanta.
Second win of the year. And his team owner, Dale Earnhardt Jr., paced the field in the opening laps in that retro, what was it, Dale Earnhardt restored you have it written down right here for me, 1984 Nova. That was gorgeous. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see too much of it on TV. A lot of people are complaining about that. They did. Now, I will say this. I'll give FS1 some credit. They did show it for an extended period of time during the pre-race, about 20 or 30 minutes before the green flag. But I also understand that most people haven't tuned in yet by that point. So it's kind of, they got it out of the way maybe earlier than they should have. What'd you guys make of, one, Allgaier winning, but also do you guys feel Dale Jr.'s work got snubbed? That's how some people felt.
From how they hyped it, yes.
Yeah, I guess
I was listening on the radio, and they had the crowd mic on, and they were starting to go nuts, and they were talking about how, and again, this is just me again. This is me going completely off the rails and geeking as an Earnhardt fan.
Go for it.
They were talking about how he was right up against the wall at one point, the way he was during his career. And for me as a Junior fan, that's something that I hold in my heart. I love that.
That's
I love watching Dale
nostalgia.
Jr. an inch from the wall. And so I'm outside doing, like I said, doing yard work, trying to finish that up in time. And I sprint inside to see it. And instead I see, basically a bunch of people looking like they're in the 90s. I know it's
Hey, Noah Gregson, Dale Jr. are in the booth. You got a copy? You just get one of those.
I'm seeing Adam Alexander thinking he's in sync or something.
God.
Oh yeah, and then
In-sync
Bubba and Jones, they were
Who do
wearing
they
the
think is
freaking-
They
watching?
pulled it off.
Yeah, they did.
They pulled it
did.
off.
I'm like, oh my god.
But that was disappointing. But it didn't kill. I mean, it did nothing whatsoever with the race itself. Didn't kill the race.
Yeah,
so.
as far as the racing though, Junior Motorsports, man, those were my two most favorite schemes probably in the Xfinity series, and they both finished 1-2. And then Josh Berry finished with nearly the same identical donut as Junior had on the side of his car. That was nuts. And then the funniest thing, the post race, Allgaier was like, "This is for the blue. This is for the blue shirted guy in the middle of the stands. He was giving me the two fingers, so it motivated me a little extra to win." I was like, I'm like, dude, we need more of that. We need that more often. Some of these idiot fans being called out by the drivers. That would be funny. Yeah, if we see that more often. Not too much.
Was it Todd Blue?
In a harmless way like that. That was
Yeah.
Todd Blue jealous that Allgaier stole his ride.
Yeah. So that was Todd Blue then. Yeah, we found the culprit, Danny.
Yeah.
That was a
Anyway.
good interview. Yeah, no, the Xfinity race was fun. Didn't have quite the same punch that the two Xfinity races at Darlington last year had. But those, there was the Hamlin Chastain finish, and then the
Chase Briscoe
and
versus
Kyle Busch.
KFB.
Those are going to be two all-time classics. Didn't quite get
yeah.
there, but I thought, and we've talked about this last week. I thought the Xfinity series won the weekend overall as far as throwback schemes. I love what some of the guys in the Cup did. I thought Corey LaJoy went all in. He was fantastic and all that stuff. But Xfinity, from the Gatorade Darrell Waltrip car to the JRM cars, so many great schemes. All the UPS throwbacks, it was great.
I just remember. Oh, good.
I didn't expect there to be two UPS throwbacks, and they were both beautiful.
I just realized this. That's right. The truck series happened. What was that wreck?
Oh,
The truck series.
Well,
Remember
on
that?
note, we can talk about the truck series. Sheldon Creed got the win. I didn't actually get to see much of the truck series race, unfortunately. There was a huge
That's
pile.
that's the ARCA truck
Right.
series, correct?
That was the ARCA truck series,
Yeah,
man.
that
That
was-
was no Camping World truck series. Oh my gosh.
Well,
and then on
those
top
of you
of
who
that,
watched it, what happened there? It was the KBM drivers got squirrely.
yeah,
They
like
got- the people behind him hit him as they were getting squirrely. So they hit each other, go up into the wall, go back down into the second row that blocks the whole track. I mean, it looked like a Talladega wreck. It really did.
That's
half
what
the speed.
happens. That's what happens in NR 2003 when you put the AI drafting distance on 0.5 or 3, some obnoxious number, and then they just wreck on the start. Dude, that was basically almost the whole field. And then what made this even more funnier was that after Sheldon Creed wins, then him and Marcus Lemonis kind of have that little exchange, and we can get into that later maybe. But that
We'll
was
get into it later.
yeah, that was so the truck series race, that was something else.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Did Greg Biffle appear in the booth at one point? I heard
He
that-
did.
Yeah.
For half
He
the
did.
race.
Yeah, he did. And then
Wow.
also Michael Waltrip, Mikey wore his 2 fire suits, so that
Yeah,
was
I did see some disturbing images of those tightly fitting fire suits on my.
He
Yeah.
fit better in the Napa one. I'll give him
yeah,
that.
that other what was it? The Country Lemonade one. That was oh no.
I think he's 30 years old.
Yeah. Oh, it's probably older. I don't know.
But through all that, one thing that I pointed out in our chat immediately, and I have here, is that Jordan Anderson got a top 10.
I did
It
see
did.
that. See,
Yes.
I was at like a family function type deal, and it was interesting. I was meeting people I hadn't seen in a long, long time, and I kept being introduced as that NASCAR guy. And it was funny because at one point someone came up to me, and I genuinely had the leaderboard. I was shuffling through it, seeing like, oh, Jordan's in 8th. Oh, I was like, what are you looking at? And I had to be like, oh, I'm looking at
can't look
NASCAR
at it.
stuff.
Yeah.
So I lived up to all the stereotypes. It was rough, but no, that was awesome
Same.
that Jordan got a top
Dude,
10.
I can't wait to see Anderson race at COTA. That'll be cool. I can't wait to see him race in the Xfinity Series finally.
But
Get
by
that
the way,
car out there.
I'm gonna break all immersion here with this thing the way Darian did last week. Do you like what I typed in here though for the crash part?
Wait, oh, hold on, let me see.
Second one down. You don't even have the damn thing open.
Oh, I did. Well, it's like here. It's just
For those of you listening or watching right now that can't see it, which is everybody, it says "Holy crashes, Batman."
There were a
yeah.
lot of wrecks. It was a long. How long was the race? Because I saw a lot of people complaining
Two.
about the cleanup times and stuff.
Well,
which is
too
long.
like too
seems
long
like
for a truck race.
Every other week, that's the case with the truck race. Was it Daytona Road Course earlier this year? Where
That
truck
was the
race,
longest truck race ever.
It was the longest race of the weekend, longer than the Xfinity or the Cup race. That's insane.
I was stuck. I can't even remember where. I think I was like in Chattanooga. I was stuck for like days on end because of that snowstorm and watching that. And I was like, all right, well, my girlfriend and I are there. I'm like, we'll go to bed after the truck race. It won't be that long.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
an hour after where it's supposed to end, she's like, is it going to be over? And I'm like, well, there's 12 to go. So no.
So it'll be over in 2 hours.
I remember I was feeling sick around that time too, like watching the truck race, and like I was just like, oh my god, like dude, I'm trying to go to bed. Like, when is this over, man? Like, just kept going forever.
When will it end?
So this is basically the same case for the Darlington race, I guess on a lesser scale, but
Oh, for the love of God, the fly is back.
yep, the fly, the famous iceberg fly.
The Fly is just excited about these TV ratings for the Cup Series race this weekend. Jarrett, you got the number pulled up, correct? What record did the Cup Series set on FS1 this weekend?
that was a good segue.
Yeah.
Well, we got a
That's
1.1.
my middle name.
We got a 1.71 rating, which is about 3.1 million viewers, which makes it the most watched FS1 race since 2017.
Wow.
Best in the post Dale Jr. era.
Since
That's
Dale
pretty
Jr.
good.
raced,
Yeah.
since he raced. Wow.
It's dying, guys, so it's dying.
Oh,
Remember that.
dude, these are fantastic numbers, man. Now, we did lose out to the PGA Tour, of course. I mean, that's
And,
understandable.
Not in viewership, just in
Oh.
rating.
In the rating.
I guess
Oh, in the
some-
rate. Okay.
A bunch of 18-year-olds, I guess, were watching golf for some reason. I've never heard of such a thing, but okay.
Hey, maybe golf's back on the swing. I don't know, but that NASCAR is for sure. I mean, for I wasn't even trying to be cute there. That just happened. But no, so basically what happened is, I mean, dude, like this is an awesome deal, especially on a cable channel like FS1. This is a huge W for them. Obviously like the nostalgic guy, me, who misses, us being on Fox and NBC, the big Fox and NBCs, on a weekly basis. Like, I miss those days, and I'm really curious to see what the rating would have been on there and be increased with that. But
Like 4 million.
yeah, but I mean, for FS1 though, this is a good W for them. And I mean, what is this now? 3-4 consecutive races with three straight weeks with ratings increases. When was the last time that happened?
It's been a while.
2018, I think.
Yeah, wow.
One of the two.
Yeah, one of those. But they weren't like big ratings increases like this, I don't think.
I'm happy about it, man. I'm happy that we're finally able to actually talk, like, because we always were like, well, this was on, and we kind of use like excuses. It's
Yeah.
but no, we halfway beat everybody else on the weekend. So I can't help but to be happy. I know a lot of people, watching don't really care about ratings, but it's important with, the TV news we keep hearing about and the upcoming deals. So I think this means a lot more than people think.
It means Mother's
Speaking
Day
of,
races might be here to stay.
Speaking of
My mom's
ratings
dismayed.
and things on TV, I know a lot of people have also been simultaneously keeping up with their NFL teams' seasons coming up. Just want to say this to Darian, the Titans and the Rams will have a Sunday night football game this year.
Oh wait, where? In Nashville?
It'll be in LA.
Oh, dang. Oh, okay. Damn. If it were in Nashville, that'd be perfect. I'd definitely fly out there for that one. I got to fly to see a Tennessee Vols game this fall, though. I got to experience that.
Well, last thing we have to talk about regarding Darlington, and then we'll get into all the other stories that you guys want us to talk about from this past week. Jarrett, what were the numbers on the famous iceberg pole.
The famous iceberg pole. And do we in fact have a new pole record?
It's like the third week in a row. Wow.
Yeah.
Look at
Well,
this.
maybe the poll is key to keeping people invested. I don't know.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
ratings go as the poll goes.
Exactly.
So last week, so let's go back. Before Talladega, the record was 13.4 thousand. Then it went to 15.7 with Talladega, 15.8 last week. This week, we've broken the 16.3 threshold, or 16 threshold. We're at 16.3.
Nice.
Cool, to the moon.
My only question is, where the heck are those 16,000 watching this show? Come on, guys.
Yeah, right on.
I legit had somebody like that deleted their last comment last week because I went a day ahead to look. And the person's like, you're just being negative so you can get the last comment. And they're like, for the show. And they're like, what show? They're like, the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. And I'm like,
I've never heard of that.
He literally is like, I've never heard of that.
That's so funny.
So if you're watching, I did see you before you deleted that. Anyway.
What?
That was funny as hell, man. Anyway. The numbers for it. Well, we had 12% of you that thought it was great, 46% thought it was good, 30% said it was average, 8% said it was below average, and 4% of you said it was a bad race.
And they can see on the screen that I voted average.
I voted good. I have more than one account.
I was torn
I
between
voted
average.
average.
I was torn between average and good. It was in between there.
I voted average. Yeah, that was an average race.
So we had 58% net approval to 12% net negative. Which means this race is tied for the 59th out of 81 all time and for net positivity, which puts it around the same place as the second Pocono race last year, this year's Richmond Spring race, and that's it. It's ahead of the fall Kansas race last year.
Oh, that's good. That's big. That's big.
And the 12% net negativity puts it with this year's Kansas race and the fall Talladega race last year. Out of the Darlington races, this is the lowest voted by a large margin.
Wow. I think I'm crazy for voting average.
Oh, what I guess because the cars weren't closer.
It is 5th out of 5, and here's what like the ones were before this. It's 88, 88, 87, 73, 58.
Wow. Oh.
Those by a lot.
So this race was very polarizing when you think about it, because here I am thinking like it was awesome, but then you got others basically like, oh, it was terrible. Like, what? Well, why? Because they weren't closer. Like, I don't know. They would just give you different reasons. But
It was just dominance. I think if you get...
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
If you got in a dramatic finish like one of the Darlington races last year, but with this package race throughout, people would have loved it. Like, think about it. Low downforce created those two great, or helped create those two great Xfinity finishes last year. So I think just the fact that somebody dominated always is going to make people kind of laugh.
Yeah, like in a season full of parity such as this one, I mean, Truex winning all three of those stages, like that'll probably definitely affect the positivity of a race, you know.
Fans will watch dominance, but they'll often complain about it. Is what I
found, exactly. Yeah, I don't care if a guy's the best, then he's the best.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into some of these comments here. The number one comment was from Charles Peterson Jr., who said, Larson may not have won the race, but holy crap, that threading the needle with a few laps to go was the best last-ditch effort I have ever seen.
That was cool.
It was gorgeous.
That was good, and it was clean too. Didn't even like have to ruffle them a little bit.
He was getting by Newman in the process. Like, whoa, Newman probably had no idea. Like, how did he do that? Nobody's ever.
Newman's like he's like, dang it, I should have blocked him sooner. Probably.
What if he did? What if he just decided to shut down the move of the year? You know.
Well, building off that, because a lot of the comments are off Larson here. The second comment is about CP from CP Metis, who says turn one at Darlington only has 1.5 lanes and nobody shows up with 1.5 race cars. Then it shows in bold, Larson shows up with 1.5 race cars. Austin Higgins, as a Larson fan, lots of space between it. For the love of all things holy, stop finishing second at intermediates.
That's what he does. That's what he does.
Hey, he's got now like 4 top 5s, I think.
They have the best mile-and-a-half program, that 5 team, but they can't close out these races.
This was impressive because this one's almost a mile and a half, but it's with a different package, and he still was fast. So that's impressive.
He's still fast, but he just can't. Oh, and he just can't get it. You just can't close the deal yet.
It says
Where
thanks
was the-
for
ooh.
coming to my.
Look at your
TED
super-
Talk."
Oh,
Look at your chat,
delayed on
yeah.
my Jesus.
Yeah.
Really, really quick. Sorry, Jared.
No
TVP.
problem.
Holy moly, y'all are crazy tonight with another bright red, blood red, $100 super chat.
American dollars this
Yeah,
time.
American. We bleed American here.
Yeah.
I've read it, and I think it got the exact kind of reaction I thought they would.
I'm like, ooh.
But
Yeah. So
by
he
the
just
end
wants
of this
to.
read, it'll be worth $90.
He just wants to see what a reaction to the super chat would be. Keep up the great work, guys, and continue the success and continue to grow. Well, it's very easy to grow with great support from people like you, TVP
Yes.
_83. Really, truly appreciate.
We
the
are
support.
funded by viewers like you, and we appreciate that.
Wow.
Thank you.
I just scrolled down to another comment. Wayne, the motorsport fan, says Stenhouse, Rex Amarola, damn crack hog in my way.
No.
Yeah, we need the drivers we get the drivers like Corey LaJoy wearing Alan Kulwicki's fire suit. Next, we need the drivers to like role play as the people they're throwing it back to. Like we
Yeah.
need them to like talk like the drivers. We need them to drive like the drivers. That would be going all that. The
We
theming
need
at
them
that
to
point would be
sit
next level.
hours in a makeup booth getting plaster on their face where they look like the
They need to go all out like Jimmy
Well,
Johnson did. Like him combining the Petty and Earnhardt thing. That was crazy.
Jimmy was going around in that outfit last year, smiling for all the cameras. You're not in character, man. You need to just like scowl at everyone. Just
Yeah,
kinda,
that is
I
true.
feel
look off in
like
the
for some
distance.
reason, Eric just said we needed drivers to role play. I feel like this is gonna be cut and be put on NASCAR weekly meme cast.
Hey, they
Yeah.
absolutely could if they
Well,
wanted to.
I say the announcers get into it too, and they just,
Oh!
I swear I can't get a word in because they
Jesus,
just give
y'all
you
gotta
$100 every
chill.
time.
What the heck? Y'all gotta relax. My face is redder than even usual. Well, thank you, Vote Kyle 3000. My God, y'all going to COTA? I only just got my RV spot assignment.
I'm
after
going.
I know at least 3 of us will be there.
Yep.
Putting
21st.
projects
I
up.
fly out 21st. Can't
Do you
wait.
think the track returns? I think there's a possibility, but I don't even know. IndyCar is one and done, so I don't know what's going to happen with NASCAR.
Dude, I feel like for NASCAR and COTA, they would at least give this track like 2 or 3 years, I think,
I
and
hope
then see
so.
what
It's
happens.
weird because it's SMI basically promoting for COTA. It's SMI coming in and kind of doing it. So we'll see if that relationship continues. And it's also confusing. The F1 now adding 2 Grand Prix in the U.S. confuses it as well because I don't know how rock solid COTA is on the F1 schedule beyond the next
They
couple
should
of
keep
years.
it. I feel like they should
I think
keep
they
it.
should, but will they? I just don't know. I mean, the business in that track had been a little confusing for a
Yeah.
couple of
I
years.
saw some people talking about COTA, and I want to ask this to you, Eric, because you've been there. But people were talking about, at least at the F1 race, that like water bottles were going for $21 and beer was going for like $25.
I've not been to a
And-
Formula One
well,
race
here's-
at COTA, so I do not know. But that, wow.
And here's a rule that I
Oh.
did not realize, but I know that the 3 of us going will need to definitely prepare for. I'm gonna be doing some pregame hydrating, not like pre-gaming. I mean water,
Yeah,
because
water.
Yeah.
they only allow 1 unclosed water bottle in. Like per
Austin,
person.
Texas, man.
So it's
Stingy as
not like
hell.
Daytona and I could just bring in a whole bag? No.
It's not like every other track on this schedule. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, no wonder they're going bankrupt,
Of
man.
course,
And I
man.
want this race.
Stingy. Well, to answer your question, yes, we will all be there. Vote Kyle, and hopefully it's fun. I hope you have fun camping out, and hopefully the water's not $20. That would be
Dude, I'm not buying it. I'll just go parts.
late May in
Not-
Texas.
not Danny,
water
though. I
should be
won't be there.
affordable.
Dude, water at the freaking airport is cheaper, and that's like expensive to be there too. Like, what the heck?
Now,
$20.
what you need to do is like put it,
Oh my
like
gosh.
just find places to hide it. Okay, we'll get it to here. We got to get to the end of this stuff.
Yeah, thank you for the support. We will get to the super chats in the moment. Jesus,
right.
y'all got wow.
Another one.
distracted.
Just so y'all know, we do this every week. We rotate the channels, so keep that in mind.
Jeez,
Pluto CH says stage winner MTJ.
fantastic.
Let's see what else we got. I'm trying to find new people, but there's so many of you I've talked about before that. Let's
We
see.
gotta change it up every now and then.
Weather Boy says 2 top 10s in a row for Busher.
Yeah, that is wow. Yeah.
He's cooking.
Let's see what else we got here. Vegas Dude 2424 says, I like what we saw with this package today.
Nice.
that's a nice reference there.
Solid.
Let's get to the last comment.
All right. It's gonna be
All right.
negative. I know you said one got deleted.
Negative.
It's still gonna be negative. Someone's gonna
Negative.
fill that void.
Yeah, so fill me in for
Negativity.
negative.
It's from Canadian Flash.
Wait, Danny, what do you think
I
of
don't
his
know, Canadians
negative?
are nice. They're always kind of like, chilling.
Canadian Flash.
Negative, bro. I'm gonna go with negative.
I'll say it's a negative Canadian.
I think it's positive. I trust my friends up north that I don't know at all because I haven't been to Canada before, but I think they're friendly.
Canadian Flash says boring as F.
I knew it.
You let me down, Canada. How could you do this?
You're not my buddy, pal. You're not my pal, friend. You're not my friend, buddy.
See,
Oh, man.
Canadians are the same as Americans, only they just like sound different, basically to me. That's it.
Well, a lot of them speak
Negative.
French, so
Oh.
that might do something different.
There you go. See, whenever I think of Canada, I think of like just like the Toronto,
you're not-
Vancouver part.
No, I said it wrong. You're not my friend, guy.
How do you say boring in French? I'm going to look it up while you guys keep talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for voting in the famous poll. Yes,
The
we're
famous
famous
Vice
poll.
Poll. And just like Americans can be negative, Canadians can also be really negative as well.
Ennuyeuse.
As you can tell, we definitely don't fall into stereotypes.
Yeah, not at all.
Can y'all hear that in the chat? You guys aren't going to be able to chat.
Ennuyeuse.
What?
Ennuyeuse. I'm playing the Google Translate over the stream.
Ennuyeuse.
That's French for boring. Ennuyeuse.
Oh, like the.
Okay.
Buddy.
Anyway,
They said
we
they
got
could-
more. Oh my god, we went over the race weekend for a damn hour.
I know, I just realized that, so we gotta crunch this in.
Triple
I'd
header.
say we stop throwing back to the throwback race and let's
Let's just move forward.
Well, we
Yeah,
do
we got
have. Yeah, we've got some future things to talk about. So late last week, there were some scheduling rumors, a lot of them put out by Adam Stern, but among them, Ben Kennedy, who is kind of in charge of scheduling at NASCAR right now, says NASCAR is started putting together preliminary drafts of the 2022 schedule, and he eventually wants to expand its schedule presence to the Pacific Northwest and broader North America. That's all according to Adam Stern. Also from Adam Stern, specifically Mexico City, Denver are possible locations of a future street course race. And then, of course, they're also focused on Chicago first and foremost. But starting there, more street courses. What do y'all make of the possibility of going international back to Mexico City, which I believe the Xfinity series raced at about 15 years ago last.
Yep,
right?
2005
I'll
to
go
like
first
2009,
here.
I think.
I'll go first on this one. I just want to say that we know for sure if they go to Denver, Danica won't be there with Aaron Rodgers being there.
No.
Anyway, I'm intrigued. I want to stick with one street course a year. I think having too many. I mean, we already have seen the complaints with the road courses. So going to street courses, which NASCAR has not done in Cup ever, or
Ever.
at least no, not ever, a long time.
Well,
since
yeah.
Daytona Beach,
Yeah.
or around that time. I think they should definitely ease into this one the same way that they are with dirt. As for going to the Pacific Northwest, it's an untapped market. I think maybe one race there a year might be good. Portland might be an option.
Portland or possibly even Seattle.
Yeah, that place is they're very motorsports driven up there too. Like
Yeah,
there were
they
some
have
guys at the Pikes Peak, yeah.
Oh, and they have I think Portland International.
Yeah,
Race.
Portland. Yeah, that's a spectacular road course.
It's a short road course too.
Yeah,
With a
exactly.
street course, because it can literally just be made up anywhere and do it wherever. I kind of like the idea, and I know it would be unfortunate if you're like, oh, well, we want to get the Chicago market. Well, then what if you're like, well, I want to get the Seattle market. So maybe if we're going to do a street course and it can really just happen anywhere as long as you make the track, why don't we, if you're going to rotate anything all year, rotate your street course and go into a new market each year.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. And yeah, you also mentioned too up there in that region of the United States, Seattle. That would be another spectacular untapped market there as well.
You'd have to have the rain tires ready because it's all
Yeah,
That's-
basically.
yeah,
That's what I'm saying. It's tricky. All right.
like that would be probably a memorable race because everyone would be slip sliding away.
Yeah, that'd be
As
fine.
as for going to Mexico City, I think that is something that we see the races up in Canada. I think expanding to all of North America might be the best option to start with for NASCAR because,
Yeah.
you know, in the internet era, everything is definitely going more global. And I think that expanding your audience there is the best way to really survive in this landscape so that you don't have all your eggs in one basket. You might have the majority of them in the American basket.
Mhm.
But a race in Mexico, a race or two in Canada, I think would do a lot of good for for NASCAR and growing it in different countries too. I mean, I look on YouTube and there's people from all over the world, people from Britain, people from like Australia, people from France that are reacting to NASCAR crashes, NASCAR stories, NASCAR this and that.
Oh yeah, it's always those reaction channels all the time. It's like,
Here's
Open
an
it up.
idea. What if you wanted to do this? If you could do a street course literally anywhere, say we're racing at Charlotte, have a bye week, and then that gives people time to go overseas for a race. Maybe a race in London. Like give them that week to get everything together, ship it over, and then have another bye week afterwards to get reset back in America.
see, if this is
that would cut the momentum too much, I think, on viewership. NASCAR is very momentum driven with it, and then on top of that, like I understand why they're staying in North America with that, just because of the time zone differences.
yeah, and also just like the logistics of traveling and getting cars there.
Yeah, you can still just drive up there with your truck.
I feel like though that they would do that if they would, if this whole new street course racing and then also like, just tapping into these untapped markets. Once that's successful, then maybe they can start exploring like other options, like Danny pointed out.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere. And I think Canada, Mexico, both worthy. And I think if you can find a fun, competitive track somewhere out in the Pacific Northwest, I think that would be great, because that is kind of a clear, glaring hole on the map as far as NASCAR tracks are concerned.
In Seattle or Denver, one of those two.
But I'm with you, Jared. I don't want to see a ton of street courses suddenly flood the schedule.
No.
I'd be okay with like maybe, I don't know, another road course or two at some point down the line if this new car really races well at those. But yeah, just flooding it with street courses, I think we've all set our piece on that one.
I know they keep talking about this new car might make the street course racing better. It's just like, but just to me personally, based on history, like, I mean, just typically street courses are they're usually not the most entertaining. So like, I feel like NASCAR is just doing this either way for to be more aesthetic pleasing, I guess, in a way, you know what I mean? Like to get it in these giant markets and stuff. And it's like, hey, NASCAR is not just about ovals, hey, we race on street courses. Like,
they're doing it to break the stereotype a little bit.
So like, even if the racing sucks, NASCAR is still going to view this as a giant success if they're able to tap into these markets and get, the amount of fans they want to. Yeah. So I feel like the racing's like secondary in terms of like street course racing to me. Like, but if they are able to make this new car better, then great. I don't know.
I think that's a bad way to go about it if that's the real strategy. Like, I think the racing always needs, if the racing is good, fans will come.
Yeah, just typically based on history, those street courses, again, for every Long Beach, there's like 10 or 12 others that fail. You know what I mean? So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, exactly. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes, though.
Dirt tires or sand tires. Next thing.
Let's race in the desert. Let's just race in the Sahara Desert, basically.
Yeah.
Just get the dirt tires on there.
Lovely. Also, though, in future scheduling news, we're not just talking about these newfangled street courses and road courses. We're also talking about some old favorites that might be getting renovated, or at least seem to be having support built up behind them. Marcus Lemonis, the CEO of Camping World, said on Twitter last week that he's willing to invest up to $1 million into North Wilkesboro Speedway and even open up a small camping world on the property. And then kind of going off that, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been at Nashville Fairgrounds in the last week or so promoting NASCAR's return to that
track.
track.
Off those Karens. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then Marcus Smith from SMI has talked about both tracks a bit. They've been trying to prepare a plan for North Wilkesboro. We already know about their plan for the Fairgrounds, which we'll talk a little bit more about here in a few moments. But starting off with North Wilkesboro, do you guys think this is at all realistic? I know Marcus Lemonis, he's got some deep pockets. He's throwing $1 million at it. But I think it was even Dale Jr. who tweeted, who's a huge supporter of all these tracks. He even tweeted that it's going to take like another $100 million to really make this thing happen. Yeah. Is that realistic? Darian, what do you think? I
feel like this is the same song and dance, and I mean, just, a little bit more money involved from Marcus Lemonis and stuff. It's just over the years, North Wilkesboro, they've had different people come and go. I remember way back in 2011, there was like a lot of hype for the track to come back when the widow of Benny Parsons got involved with some investors to try and bring the track back. I mean, they did bring like some late model racing there. And as a matter of fact, Chase Elliott actually won like one of the first races back there in 2010. But, fast forward a decade later, and I feel like, okay, like, yeah, Marcus Lemonis putting in his Camping World money and hyping this up is cool. But like you just said, Junior tweeted, look, it's going to take 80 to 100 million to really make this deal happen, to renovate and shit. Like, I feel like There is potential though, because it seems like the locals really want it, and they were putting up banners at like, what was it, like
billboard now that says
at like their town hall meeting or like something like that, and like their town hall building or something. So they want it back, but it's just a matter of getting the logistics together to try and actually make it happen. But I mean, I feel like Jared's kind of in the same boat as me. It's like, look, I'll believe it when I see it. I keep hearing all this stuff before, but look, until something happens, it's just a pipe dream to me.
Same. That's pretty much me. Like, I would love for it to happen. I'd be a full-blown supporter if this really got taken off the ground and there's more concrete stuff behind it. I would go to the races if they came back to support it. But there's just there's nothing concrete here. There's just, I'll do this. Well, I'll do this. Well, I could
We're
do
crowdfunding
this.
a racetrack, maybe.
Yeah.
Still ways and ways to go. No, I think you're
If it's
exactly
80
right.
to 100,
Yeah,
that ain't happening.
Yeah. We still need dozens more Marcus Lemonises, if you will, or one, super Marcus. Oh yeah, that sounds good. I like that. A super Marcus to
Let's
to
run
come
down
in
to the supermarket, Marcus Lemonis.
and buy ourselves a brand new racetrack. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think North Wilkesboro, we've talked about before, would be really cool to see it back on the schedule. Does it make the most financial sense out of all these other projects to focus on it? Maybe not, but if you get the right supporters, if you get the right people behind it, the right names behind it to throw their support, anything's possible. Anything's possible, and I think I think would be a welcome place on the schedle for another. short track.
Or he's tricking everybody and he's gonna bulldoze the track for multiple camping worlds.
He puts an Overton's over here, whatever Good Sam or whatever they own over there. Yeah, it just becomes a
Dude, they
hub.
would tear him to shreds if he did that. He like trolled them like that. He was like, nah.
One that is very much there and doesn't look like a bulldoze is the Fairgrounds.
I was gonna say, speaking of tearing people apart, a few local Nashville residents have opened themselves up to some very valid criticism and some just more creative criticism, perhaps. But I'll let you, especially Jarrett, take control on this because you paid probably the closest attention to it the last day or so. But yesterday, the Nashville Fair Board held their monthly meeting and heard testimonies from many in support of and many against the idea of NASCAR and Speedway Motorsports renovating the Nashville Fairgrounds and bringing the Cup Series back to that racetrack. And you had some people supporting it. Darrell Waltrip showed up and just got up at the podium and talked a little bit about what the track means to him. And then you had a lot of locals that in some cases cited incorrect statistics and facts when making their statements, but you had people opposed to it, some for
Eric's too nice. He's too nice.
I'm trying to be as objective as possible.
I know.
Because I know Jarrett's gonna give his very his hot take, not hot take, but his
I didn't think I went too overboard.
Yeah. It's just they're just so easy to make fun of, though.
Well, so the one woman that stole the show is the one who cited how many. She said there's 5 Formula One tracks,
5 F1 tracks
in Nashville, not just in the U.S., which is already not true, but in Nashville alone. That's
she said 20 to 30 minutes of Nashville. Okay, so the super speedway, and then they had to make one in the middle of downtown on the street.
And keep in mind, too, she's probably mistaking the upcoming IndyCar downtown Nashville street course race for F1 maybe, but she said 5 F1 tracks. Dude, she's clearly Australian, and F1's really big in Australia. So I figured
she
at
said
least
NASCAR.
NASCAR. I know. Josh Rebell.
She said it the same way.
Josh would be proud.
Yeah, Josh Rebell.
I swear,
bro.
listening to her talk, I was waiting for her to start a revolution. She got louder as it went and started getting angrier and angrier.
Jared, get into that too. What was she doing? She was screaming a bunch of nonsense and all that, and then everyone was like,
"My dog has nightmares because of NASCAR."
Yeah.
Okay. So to start with, they opened the floor to those who were pro Fairgrounds, and listen, we're laughing about this, but I think all of this played perfectly into the hands of NASCAR fans. Aside from, I will say, I agree with a few people on Twitter that said, yeah, we probably did go too far in some places. I'm waiting for someone could edit in that scene of George Lucas being like, I think I went too far in some places. But overall, I think this was a win because you had the people who were for the Speedway citing correct statistics. They were calm, cool, collected, said their piece, respected rules, seemed pretty good. Whereas everybody right now is talking about basically Attack of the Karens is what they're calling it. A lot of them are. There were a lot of people that were doing theatrics yelling, citing incorrect statistics, leading everybody with incorrect statistics. So I think on face value, this is a win for the Bristol side. You saw even the person who was against it on the fair board was basically like asking the same questions, getting answers, being upset with that, and then going and asking the same question in a different variant. As Matt Weaver said, he has higher preparation, so he's probably needing to like show different people that.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of politicians. Anyway,
This one I will say almost starts to make more sense because it is almost seeming like some of these responses seem like they're so dumb they can't actually be real concerns. It almost does feel like these are people that particular guy has gotten some people like on board to say things, it feels like. But
I wouldn't say that. It felt like a last ditch effort. It felt like a lot of these people, and again, these people should be involved in this.
Yeah, a lot of these people do feel like they're out of desperation because most of them are purely from these responses. They don't make any sense. It's purely from a selfish standpoint.
Yeah, you don't want it there, so you can't come up with a legit reason why. So you have to basically come up with all of this like gibberish.
If you can give a response that is going to actually make it make sense, and the closest thing that I've heard so far to things that don't make sense, one, the parking that is a real issue.
Yeah.
Two, someone said, okay, but the added pollution, but really that one doesn't really matter. You're already in
by Nashville.
You're in the biggest metropolitan area in Middle Tennessee. If you go downtown, you're going to find buses. You're going to find lots of cars, people doing Uber and stuff like that. You're going to find trains running through. You're going to find sometimes there's a riverboat out there. You're going to see construction sites. And
the party boats. Don't forget about the party boats, man. All these party freaking places.
Yeah, like all the party buses out there. Yeah. Like there's so much more. And honestly, the Broadway area probably pollutes so much more.
Those bars have enough pollution coming out of them as is. We walked by them. I was like, whoa.
Like a lot of this stuff that I'm hearing, I hear it, and from their point of view, I can kind of get it. But the thing is, you're basically showing up and saying, hey, I live 3 blocks down the road over here, and I know you're a private business and you can run this however you want to, but you also can't run it the way I want it because I say no.
It'll inconvenience my life somehow because my dog won't be able to handle the sounds and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, go ahead, Jared.
Go ahead.
I will say, while I did kind of dismiss some of the claims there,
some of them are legit. Okay, yeah.
The noise one is a legit one. Yeah. How is Nashville going to mitigate it? They have plans, and I trust that with SMI being in control. I mean, SMI has taken some huge leaps over the last couple of years and doing things we never thought possible. Bristol Dirt and the Roval being the chief among them.
I didn't think that was a possibility. Damn.
But hold on. What we got to realize is a lot of these people don't know jack squat about racing. Confusing F1, NASCAR, and IndyCar and all that. It is funny. I mean, let's be real. It's
not just
funny.
one F1 track in Nashville, but 5.
But I think that if there's Bristol in the sense here does need to do a better job of getting out to the community, and they've done a good job already, but there is way too much misinformation. If that is one of the only gripes I think I have with this so far is like, if these people, if you haven't talked to these people, you need to go talk to them. If they're not willing to, well, you know what, you tried. But these people are don't know what's going on with the Speedway right now. And that's not only on Bristol, but also on the city themselves. There needs to be more integration with all of them working together on this. So I will say that is one area that not many people, and I didn't even talk about that in my video, that we need to focus on is these people need to learn, but it's going to take the people that we're rooting for in this to do that. I don't know how you get through because, like I said, it looks like it's a last-ditch effort. In the end, it might not even matter. They might just vote on this without taking their concerns into consideration. But personally, if I have to give a chance of this happening based on what I heard, the actual people making decisions, their reactions, I would say that it sounds like it's a much better chance than I think the citizens make it sound like.
I think at the end of the day, they're going to go off of where's the money going to come from? And my thing is, I don't live in Nashville. I live in Hendersonville, pretty close to it. And same thing I said, I'm so happy that Nashville Super Speedway is back. But if you tell me that we now have 2 racetracks within, less than an hour from me that are going to host NASCAR race weekends, I'm all for that, and I'm going to take my money there.
Yeah, well, as what you were saying, Jared, I believe 3 out of the 4 voted, I guess, in favor or at least positively towards those who are in supporting National Fairgrounds. So it sounds like the support is there, but I do want to back that up because again, we joke about the people that make that have the misinformation out there that just don't fully understand what they're talking about in some respects. And I think it's important to get people on the ground to help talk to them and maybe reassure them or at least give them accurate facts so they know that there's not 5 Formula One tracks in the area, so that they understand that this is kind of a one of a kind speedway that could be a huge boom to businesses in the area and things like that. But I also think it's important to not as NASCAR fans to not lay it on these people quite as much as I think many have so far. Like if I lived in the neighborhood next to Nashville Fairgrounds and I was kind of on the fence, like, it'd be kind of cool to have a track there or racing there, but at the same time it's gonna be noisy, gonna be crowded. If I was on the fence and I happened to go on Twitter in the last day, I would absolutely be against the track right now, I think, because I think I would probably feel insulted by many of the people, whether that's a correct feeling or not. Like, as funny as it is when the woman complains about her dog not being able to hear because it's to her that her dog gets scared of the rumbling race cars and things like that. Like, as goofy as their opinions may be to us, their opinions are as valid as any of our opinions, I think. As much as we want to see a racetrack there, they have every right to say they don't want a racetrack there for whatever reasons they have. Their job is to get up in front of the board and make their reasons sound as legitimate and as intense as they need their reasons for the track not to exist to somehow outweigh the financial benefits of the track existing or of NASCAR coming to the track. So that's their job. That isn't to say that so I don't they're not wrong. They're just, they're wrong about some of the stats. They're not wrong about their emotions.
We shouldn't tell them how to feel. We shouldn't tell them how to feel.
I will say though, there needs to be some accountability on their part. They, a lot of them have been like, we thought that this is getting torn down. It's like, well,
yes,
that's your personal problem.
That's that idea.
They were talks of that when a lot of these people did move in. But I will say though, is that whether I've been getting into crypto here. So if it's like, whether it's investing in different things or whether it's moving somewhere, you made a decision and it ended up not being a good decision. And there are consequences with that. Part of that is something coming in that you don't like or want. Just be, as valid as their I won't say even a lot of their criticisms are valid, but as valid as their right is to talk about this, it is just as valid of a right for the people at the fairgrounds who have been there much longer than any of them. I think somebody quoted they've been there 117 years.
Since 1904.
It's just as much their right to bring in whoever the hell they want, especially if they follow all of the laws and ordinances that have been put in place for them.
Right.
I think so. I think there's a perfect balance, and that again is the goal of the people that live there that don't want the racing to return. They've got to make their argument sound more compelling than all the financial benefits that NASCAR would bring to the facility, and I think that's what people are going to have to hear. But I just mean to say that as silly as it is when the woman complains about her dog being scared, it's silly, but she's not necessarily wrong. Like, these are the actual arguments that NASCAR and Speedway Motorsports are going to be up against, and those arguments, as silly as we may think they are, do have some weight to them. And so I think it's wise not to overly belittle those arguments just because they're silly to us, I guess. I know if I lived next to Nashville Fairgrounds, I would absolutely not be opposed to racing returning, but unfortunately many people that live there are not racing fans, so we're gonna have to convince them one way or the other. Educate and inform. That's the same thing. Educate and convince, I guess.
Just inform.
Here's my idea. Hey, would you guys like free tickets to the upcoming races?
that might help. Or I think
some of them it would.
I think we joked about this. It's like, racing's too loud. Oh, what do you mean? Here, come to the race. We'll show you. They get to the race. Yeah, it's loud.
Next thing you know, they walk away. Like, I just spent $200 in NASCAR merchandise. What happened?
You never know. Some will hopefully fall that way. We'll see how it goes.
I just say my last thing I want to say is, no matter and I even think memeing and joking, like, I mean, I joked, I memed about it a bit. It's fun. If it's not in a point of malice, fine. But don't go harassing these people.
Yeah,
Like,
don't do that.
like,
That's too.
no,
That's too much.
Not just if you're gonna make a funny comment, fine. Because I think that's all good and it's completely fine to do. If it doesn't break, basically my thing is if it doesn't break, no matter what your opinion is on, if it doesn't break social media rules, I think you'll
Or
be
the
fine.
law, like that. That's
Yeah,
it,
don't break the law. Don't go out of your way to make these people like have a living hell because they don't deserve that.
Yeah,
you know?
they live there too. They're just concerned citizens.
But I'll tell you, the edited Wikipedia page of Nashville being famous for 5 F1 tracks was funny as hell.
That was funny.
I appreciate that.
That was good, harmless and good fun.
Yeah.
All right, now we're gonna have to move on because we do still have a ton to get to in this show, and we're closing on an hour and a half. So this happened to us a couple weeks ago. There's just too much going on these days, and we all like to talk way too much. But next up is the mailbag question of the week. A reminder, you can send your questions to weeklypodcastguest@gmail.com, and we might answer yours in an upcoming episode. But this week's question comes from Blake. And his question is, so I started watching NASCAR back in the mid to late 1990s. My question to you guys is, what is your favorite race, any series, from the 90s? Mine is the 1995 Bristol Night Race, Earnhardt versus Labonte Part 1. Thanks and keep up the great work, guys. Thank you, Blake. And I agree that Bristol race is obviously a classic. I actually recently was going back and watching some of the finishes to some of the Daytona 500s from the 90s, and like watching 1993 Dale Jarrett's win. That finish, you forget how close Dale Earnhardt was. That would have been his first Daytona 500 win, and he was, I believe, leading when they took the white flag, or maybe it was 2 to go, and Dale Jarrett got around him, or got
around him with like 4 to go, I think, and then held on.
It was in the last like 2 or 3 laps.
Yeah,
because Jeff
like
Gordon
that.
was in there. It was a lot of heavyweights at the end of that race, is what I was impressed by. But what about you guys? What are some of your favorite 90s races?
95 Bristol Night Race was good, but honestly, I like 99 a little better.
I was just gonna say, like, I've rewatched the 1999 Bristol Night Race. It's in high quality on NASCAR's channel, so I'd have to say that's my favorite race of the 1990s.
It's funny how both of those races have honestly almost identical finishes, except for where the wreck
different
happened.
Results, yeah, and like different results too. Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the year because I didn't go to actually check it. All right. So I kind of feel bad for that. I believe it's in the 90s. It was a Bristol race, early 90s. But it ended out with like 4 to 6 guys in contention to win. And it was back before Bristol was like you basically conveyor belt on the bottom. I can't remember what year that was. I can remember the people.
Every year.
I can remember the people who were running up front. I believe I want to say Davey Allison was up front.
There was one year where Allison and Mark Martin they finished like side by side. I think I can't remember which one that was.
I think that's it. If somebody can say it in the chat,
I think it was 93 maybe or 92.
No, it wouldn't. I think it was 90. It looks like is what they're saying in the chat.
Yeah, it might be that one.
That one. I enjoyed watching. Some are saying 91, 90. I don't know. I'll go on Broken Racing reference to find out.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Apparently, that's what us YouTubers do.
We only read racing reference on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast.
It's a good ass site.
That's literally what the show was every week. Okay, guys, page 1 of racing.
Today.
We go through the drivers in alphabetical order.
Go from 96,
First,
like go
Eric
year
Almirola,
to year.
Well, a lot of great races picked from the 90s. Like last North Wilkesboro race was in the 90s. So some memorable 1992 Hooters 500. I see a lot of people saying in the chat. Of course, that's an easy one.
Yeah.
6 drivers mathematically contending for the championship.
Yep.
There it is. 1990 Valleydale meets 500.
There you go.
There we
Well
go.
done, Crystal John.
That was one of the first like high quality races NASCAR uploaded too, and that was like in 2017 when they did that before they started doing it on a regular basis. Now
It's good. It's a good.
Yeah, it's
race.
really good.
I
Yeah.
think people should watch it. It's very underrated, and for some reason, it's been forgotten in history already.
I remember it because Derek Cope, he crashed in that race, and I put that in my bad seasons
Of
video.
course he did.
Yay, Derek Cope!
Hooray! I'll have to check that one out. You said it's on NASCAR's YouTube channel?
Yeah, and what is it called again, Jared?
Valleydale
1990.
meets-
Yeah,
1990 Valleydale meets 500.
you'll find a better quality version
that's
on their
an
channel.
impressive name. Well, thank you so much for the question, Blake. Again, you guys can send your questions to weeklypodcastguest@gmail.com, and we might pick it. Next up, before we get to the lightning round, I can sense a cold front coming in, but we have to thank our first sponsor of the night, Lionel Racing. Jarrett, take it away.
Yes, so thank you to Lionel for sponsoring us for the lightning round. Lionel, official diecast provider of NASCAR. I saw, Eric, that you have kind of helped out a little bit with the 2021 diecast front coming in. But
cool.
they were on the car for Noah Gragson last year at the Roval. And I think 2021 still has some pretty big things coming up for Lionel. And I will say that just thank you to Lionel for supporting the NASCAR Weekly podcast and the Out of the Groove podcast network too.
Absolutely.
What diecast do y'all have?
Darian, you got that Nationwide. That was one of my favorite Nationwide schemes.
This is a
Silver
classic.
doors.
Dude, this has a lot of meaning to me because I saw Junior's basically his final Cup win, unofficial Cup win, but it came in the 2016. I think I believe it was dual race number 1 from 2016.
Yeah.
That was basically his final one, and I was like, yeah, it's gonna be an awesome year, and then never mind.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
And also, depending on whatever day you want to be, that could also be a Jeff Gordon or an Alex Bowman.
Yeah, I didn't realize that too. So yeah, Jeff Gordon throwback, Alex Bowman throwback now. Nice. They did run this exact scheme. So yeah, I like this one.
I'm gonna be honest. I forgot to bring one down here, so I'm just gonna say that I have gladly pre-ordered a Alex Bowman Richmond win for my friends at Lionel Racing.
Fantastic. Good recovery.
I got the Dale Jr. stained car. This is an awesome one. You can look at the color here.
Oh, I remember that. That's a good scheme.
And if you look, I don't know if you can you can't tell really, but the E on DEI is made to look like guitar strings, which is really cool. You got the stain logos everywhere. And here's something that a lot of people might not know is back in the early 2000s, they did absolutely everything with NASCAR merchandise, including editing the die casts to be piggy banks.
Oh, yeah.
So if you look in the back window here,
Wow.
there's a hole where you can put coins in, and on the other side, there's a key. And
That's
the key
crazy.
opens up the gas tank, and the gas tank is your piggy bank. So,
The amount of detail.
and it's
Put
a
out the
normal
black
die-
flat. He's leaking dimes on turn 2.
Hey, that is a bank diecast. It actually doesn't look bad. Some of the bank diecasts I've seen have had like blacked out windows and they don't look good.
I've got a bank
because-
diecast. Credit one.
With these ones, though, they use the actual diecast and just sort of edited upon the actual diecast. So
That's pretty cool.
It's really cool. If you find one of these kind of things, keep it because they don't make these anymore.
They don't make them like they used to, basically.
Awesome. And I'm just rocking Matt Kenseth's Credit One car from last year. It is signed by Matt Kenseth. This was like my last big merchandise purchase. You know, as a Matt
That's
Kenseth
the bad season's
you
car.
I know. This is why this is like the only thing I bought from last year. But like every year, you gotta buy your favorite drivers new stuff. This is about the only thing I got for Kenseth. I got this in a T-shirt, and that was like it. But it's a slick looking paint scheme. Too bad Credit One's not with Chip Ganassi Racing anymore.
Yeah, they bolted. They're like, Larson's not here.
Between
Wow.
Larson and Kenseth sucking, it was
Yeah, like, oh, we're gone.
But no, yes, thank you to Lionel. And yes, we did do a big giveaway for their latest NASCAR Authentics wave, and we actually did pick a winner. We're just waiting for confirmation from their we sent them an email, so hopefully we get that confirmation. But thank you to everyone. We will be giving away other wave 3 diecast as well over the next
I just got an
few
email.
weeks.
I won the thing.
What? I told them not to pick favorites.
Oh, wow. No, I'm just kidding. It's
Opens
still
email
progressive.
and eviction notice.
Oh, no.
Oh, gosh.
Congrats, you won.
Homelessness.
Homeless.
Get out. Yeah.
Wow,
You're
that's
kicked
pretty-
out.
That's pretty sinister. That's rough.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But thank you to Lionel Racing. Now, boys and girls, I think that cold front has gotten a bit closer. It's the lightning round. What time is it? Derek?
It's the lightning round
Wow.
on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast.
Don't hurt yourself.
I have some strong lungs, don't
Yeah.
I like to think that the lightning has just like shot right through Derry, and that's what makes him get all that energy.
Hey, strong
Shazam!
lungs, man. Hey, I ran long distance back in high school, bro. I ran with the best of them out here in that Vegas.
Gosh, that
area.
broke your microphone.
His
Yeah,
mic is noticeably quieter now.
So now, it did. Oh,
Yeah.
I gotta readjust it.
It's
so
in
basically,
shock.
That's why I have
Just,
strong
just
lungs,
okay,
basically.
okay. Just scream real quick, and maybe it'll fix it.
God, I feel for the people listening on Spotify.
Yeah,
to
what
this.
is this Tarzan impression? That was new.
That needs to be one of those out of context clips right there.
Jared, what do we have on tap today?
We
Just
so
lost
quiet.
20
All
viewers
now.
because of that.
He's so quiet. He's so quiet. Anyway, it's actually a shorter lightning round, so we can actually
Flash flood, you may say.
Yeah. Daytona, Darlington, and Kansas will be at 100% capacity for their seats. No restrictions for their fall races this year, and I intend to be at all three of those.
You go everywhere. What racetrack have you not been to, Jarrett?
There's a lot. Sonoma, Watkins Glen.
I guess a lot out west. Yeah.
Everywhere on the West Coast,
never mind.
everywhere on the East Coast.
I gave you too much credit. I got ahead of myself. It just feels like you're always on the road. You're always going to a race. It's like, when are you home?
Somewhere. He's always driving.
I like it. My life is turning into a Willie Nelson song. Teams will no longer be able to add or remove tape to the front grille, according to Jim Utter. I know we talked about this a little last week. For
Did
the next
we?
gen, yeah.
Oh, for the next gen.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So there's that. Expect Nice to go from a 4 full-time truck team to 3. Could run a 4th truck in select races, according to Bob Pockrass. William Byron is the first HMS driver to have 10 straight top 10s since Jeff Gordon in 2007, according to Dustin Albino.
Wow.
Coming into it.
Wow.
Darian, you've gotten even quieter.
What? This is crazy. All right, let me re-enter. I'll be back.
Oh my God.
He's gone. He'll be back. I got an eye open for him.
All right. A walk-up tent will be set up at the track for Johnson & Johnson vaccines for anyone 18 and older at Dover, according to Bob Pockrass.
This weekend. That's cool.
Yeah, hopefully they perform better than Johnson did last year.
Oh, no.
I've just...
Hey, that is fitting that the track that Jimmy won like a million races at would be, that's where the Johnson back. Anyway, I'm just trying to tie things together. That's all I'm trying to do here.
RFR will have the Planters scheme on the 6 car at Nashville and will be an associate for 6 more races, 4 of which will be before Nashville, according to Adam Stern.
Bowman's
Cole
losing
Custer.
so much these days, he's even losing sponsors to other drivers. Danny, what's going on over there?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, mic check. Mic check.
I think it's better.
Yay, it's better.
I think.
Okay, that sounded good. Okay, just talk normal a little bit.
I don't want to.
Oh, you're quiet. You're
It's so
quiet.
quiet. He broke his mic.
It's
and I
only a
just
little
spit my
quiet.
water
I don't
out.
know.
Wait, well, let me turn it up. I'm going to turn up the audio on this.
Oh,
All right,
God. Then
let's
it's
go.
going to fix itself, and we're going to be...
It's gonna fix itself,
Yeah.
and just the whole
It's gonna
stream
be,
is
just
gonna
gonna be
blow
bass
up.
boosted to the death.
Pretty
Well,
much.
while he's doing that,
It's boosted.
Cole Custer will make his Xfinity return at COTA next week in the number 17 SS Greenlight Racing Ford, according to motorsport.com. Jeremy
for-
Bullins
For what team?
says SS Greenlight Racing.
Rick
Oh,
Ware.
no, technically that's Rick Ware.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
basically Rick Ware.
I'm going off the official statement.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Jeremy Bullins is going to miss a second consecutive week as crew chief, and Bitcoin will be sponsoring a car to the moon at the Indy 500.
Yeah, Verrucci, I think they're sponsoring. So he'll be driving the Bitcoin car. That'd be
All right, so Danny is going to get electrocuted. I am going to go and get a cough drop because my throat hurts, so I'll be right back.
Yeah, you...
Hey.
Don't break it.
And that was the lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast.
Did you just fix it? I think you fixed it.
I think I fixed it by doing that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
well,
we'll
Yeah,
fix it
you
itself.
did. You're back to normal.
Wow.
There we go.
That's impressive.
The magic of the lightning round.
So every time the lightning round happens, you're gonna break and you're gonna come back.
Pretty
Break,
much.
unbreak, break, unbreak.
Unbreak.
Well, in case your microphone ever gets completely broken and you need to, like, I don't know, bring out some heavy machinery to fix
that
it.
one screw's still killing
Well,
me. Man.
I'm thinking more if you need to, like, weld one piece of metal to another piece of metal. I don't know. This would be a pretty intense project. But if you ever need to, our friends at Forney Industries will have you covered. Forney Industries is another proud sponsor of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. They offer a full line of welding and plasma cutting machines, metalworking accessories, and much more. Great for do-it-yourselfers all the way to professional metalworkers. Forney has everything you need for your next project, like that pesky microphone, Darian. You just bring a blowtorch out of get the mask over it.
We need to do that with Danny's old mic when I was
Just
out
build
there.
your own microphone.
Yeah, just build it from the ground up.
You can shop Forney's top-of-the-line products at Forney IND, forneyind.com, or at an authorized Forney dealer near you. And
Shop your
now,
local Forney dealer where Forney supplies are sold.
Absolutely. Now we can finally get to these super chats. You guys have sent in a ton of super chats tonight, so I will do my best to get through these very, very quickly.
A lot of expensive super chats too. Well,
Yeah, wow.
technically they're all expensive, but some are more than others, obviously.
We really appreciate the support. Thank you guys for chiming in. Groovy Goose, much earlier in the evening, says, I give the race a 69% on the Groovy Goose gauge.
Ooh,
Very nice.
ooh,
Nice.
Irvin Alvarado says, Danny B, I did not know Nashville had 5 F1 tracks. I could have bought tickets to see the Nashville, Nissan, Tennessee, Honky Tonk, or the Grand Ole Opry Jeep Repeat and see Lewis Hamilton wouldn't wall in
Yes,
person.
we have underground F1 races. I'm actually the Lewis Hamilton of Nashville Underground.
Irvin,
Yeah,
that was
Nashville.
a
Really
goat
quick, funny.
comment.
Funny thing is, these cough drops were kept in a warm place, so they turned kind of into cough gummies.
Oh God. I don't know.
It's seriously like chewing gum.
Oh wow.
Thank you,
Maybe
Daniel.
I'll do like a Violet Beauregard and do like
Oh,
just
you're
all
welcome,
across.
Eric.
Thank you, Dan. Yes,
Sorry.
thank you, Danny B. Thank you, Daniel Shell. If you told me in 2013 that Martin Truex Jr. would have 30 wins and be a Hall of Famer, well, a future Hall of Famer probably, I'd say, what drugs are you on? What career does he remind you of?
Sterling Marlin, kind of to an extent. I don't know.
He's
Just-
won with the championship and more wins and stuff.
Yeah, it's like Marlin could have been a champion in 2002, maybe had
he
it
was
not been
close.
for that. He was close though. He was in contention, so we'll never know for sure.
Thank you, GN. Domination by leaders is okay for the sport. If you try and artificially create a 2003 Darlington or 2018 Chicagoland, it's not as special anymore. I think that's true.
Yeah.
I think we need some just average races to set a good baseline. Saint Denny, really loved your video, Iceberg, but man, that one lady talking about 5 F1 tracks, cringe level over 9,000.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I had
Well,
to pause it for a second.
I told you all before the show, I was smiling the whole time because I'm like, this just helps our case more.
and then Jarrett's like, content. Yes.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
Scott McNew, what I loved about this race besides Truex winning was seeing the drivers racing on edge. Really glad the 750 package is back for Darlington. I think we all agree with you there.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Bryce, for the 10. With the exciting COTA coming up, do you guys think, what am I trying to read? Do you guys think this race will be the most exciting road course on the schedule, or will the drivers' inexperience on the track bring it down? I really don't know.
I don't know.
When IndyCar showed up, it was one of their better races of the year, but IndyCar race is completely different than NASCAR at these types of tracks. So I think really all bets are off. It could be great. It could be single file, not much passing. I really
Hey,
don't know.
I guarantee you, turn one will probably be the most exciting turn, and we'll be there, you and me, Jarrett, right
worth the
there.
price.
Yeah, right at the
admission
top of the
alone.
hill.
Yeah. Superbird 43, thank you. Who do you guys think is the next new winner? I go Hamlin.
I'm
Yeah.
going on that one.
Hamlin, yeah, he's got to
Harvick.
win eventually.
Ooh, Harvick. Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. I like how we think that's a surprise now.
I know. Times have changed.
Thank you, Groovy Goose. Eric, I like your profile pic. Thank you. Spin the UFO. That's for you, Jarrett. You
Spin
have-
the
yeah.
UFO. Yeah, I forgot to mention that's a good profile pic, Eric. I like that.
Well, thank you. I don't know if I like it. I might alter it again sometime soon, so don't get too attached to
What's
it just yet.
yellow
What's,
and black
the, what's the
pencil.
background? Is it just like some colors or what?
It's
What
just
is it?
it's just yellow and white. I took in front of this green. Well, it's yellow right now, but this is a green screen. I took a photo in front of this and then just made a plain background. But I wanted to make it more yellow out of the groove colors. But I might adjust on. I don't know. We'll see. But thank you. Then Platinum Paradise. Today's my birthday, and all I want is the 750 package every weekend. Also, is Truex and Larson this year's Hamlin and Harvick. First off, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Second,
you.
off. I don't know if I'd say this looks like Hamlin and Harvick last year, because Larson's only got one win. Yeah, he's been really competitive, but we haven't seen dominance outside of Truex from anybody else this season. I don't think.
Yeah, I wouldn't say no. It's not. I wouldn't go there just yet. If Larson does progress and win more races, specifically at these 1.5-mile tracks where he seems to be the most dominant at, then we can come back to that discussion.
And Groovy Goose, Eric E. Step wears Eric F. Step. Never know. Don't look in my closet. Platinum Paradise again. Darian, miserable seasons. Eric Almirola 2021. You got that being worked on?
Yeah, I gotta come at it. I don't know. Like, I don't think I'll just call it like a bad seasons video. This is like some sort of monumental,
Seasons.
some sort of monumental fall off that I haven't really seen.
Atrocious.
Train wreck seasons.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful.
Thank you, Scott McNew. Harvick's back is taking a toll from carrying SHR. That's true.
That's what I'm saying. He is carrying them.
Daniel says SHR is SOL. That is also true. Jake says Harvick is a total cheater boy. More Harvick hate.
Is this
Second
his
week in a
guy?
row.
That same guy, right?
He was
might-
a cheater, boy.
See you
later, boy.
We already got Fan Ran 1048's big super chat. Thank you again for that. Richard Burnish, thank you. We need to bring Michigan back to 2 races and bring back the Brickyard 400. Drop the second Darlington and take Texas off the schedule. Also, Harvick smells.
What the heck? More Harvick hate.
I think one Michigan race will go well for that track.
I think one is good as well. As
Man,
for
let's bring
Brickyard 400,
IndyCar back to Michigan. Let's see what happens.
Like, I'll put it like this: back when that track had 80,000 seats in 2016, I went there. They probably only had 20,000 people there that year. They needed to combine the dates to try and get the fan support.
turnout. I need to get some turnout. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you, St. Denny. A lot of young talent coming up in the next few years, but nobody I'm more excited to see than Todd Blue.
Todd Blue. He's
Bane-
the new Ty Gibbs.
Bane Gang. Trevor Bane will be back. Mark my words. Hashtag Bane Gang. There we go. Dustin says, hey, my favorite YouTubers. Hello, Dustin.
Hey, thank
Hey.
you. Hi, Dustin. What's up?
Benjamin Spencer. Harvick's motto, I don't always wreck the field, but when I do, it's to advance to the next championship round. Okay. There you go.
He's not letting that go.
The
He's
Harvick
like, nah.
fans these are from multiple different people too, so everyone's got a dig in
Oh.
for Harvick. This is wild.
6 years.
Yeah. Thank you, Justin James. We need to bring back the 2014 rules package with low downforce for the short tracks. This is except for plate tracks. Also, boo Harvick.
Oh my God! What is going?
I don't
what is
think we'll
going
ever see
on?
900 horsepower back, at least not until maybe
Yeah.
hybrid engines. But
I might pick Harvick a lot more from now on, just so I can piss off the chat.
That's what I'm saying. I might have to consider it.
these were all from like an hour ago too. So anyway, Boogie Monster. If Dale Jr. takes his team to Cup, is it a given that he promotes one of his Xfinity drivers, or should he get a driver with more Cup experience who's still cheap, such as De Benedetto?
Depends on sponsorship.
Yeah, it depends on the
Yeah,
sponsorship.
I think Allgaier will bring the sponsorship. That's why I
Yeah.
think Justin Allgaier would get the nod.
Michael Annette.
Yeah, a dark horse would be a net just based on. I know it's not the sexiest pick, but he does have Cup experience.
He can run the Flying J88 card with 30th.
Or
point every
maybe
week.
we could see in their first year, both of them possibly go part time, maybe a net some, and then I mean, it could.
I would like that rotating.
Whatever
Yeah.
gets the job done. Bruce, thank you. The Truck Series has degenerated into a wreck fest. It feels like a lot of drivers are in over their heads. How can it be
Degenerated.
fixed?
Oh, I don't know, man. It's just like you really have this like case where it's like there's a few of these like scrappy veterans that are still left, like Crafton in them, and then the rest are just like these kids. You know what I mean? Like so, basically, like
I think even more cost reduction. That way
Yeah.
you don't have to. It doesn't take as many dollars to get somebody up the ranks. You don't have to force them up for paid drivers who might, or not even paid drivers, but just drivers who aren't ready yet, but they have the sponsorship or forced up. I think that's the best way to do it. Now, how you do it, I don't know. I think maybe decreasing the field size again. Maybe that might help.
because they run 43 trucks, right? Or 40?
40.
Right?
They've been running
Okay.
40 when
40.
they don't have qualifying.
Mm.
It's a lot of trucks. We have a ton of super chats here. I'm going to try to get through many of them, but I may not. I may just have to thank a lot of you guys. We really do appreciate the support. But we literally have upwards of 30 more super chats, and we're already running extremely late. So I greatly apologize if we don't answer all of your questions. But thank you, Dustin Thatcher. Send another super chat. Vote Kyle. Oh, we already got Vote Kyle's in there as well. Andrew Meyer, thank you. The residents of the neighborhood next to the Nashville Fairgrounds should be more upset at the government for bad city planning instead of SMI and BMS. That's potentially true. Thank you for
Valid.
the very generous super chats. TVP_83. Really appreciate that. Dustin, again, thank you. Scott mentions Portland as a good opportunity. Rowdy18 wants a Washington, D.C. street course. TVP is talking about Ohio's lifting some of their COVID restrictions. That could come into play soon. Groovy Goose is talking about the Nashville Fairgrounds versus Karen's as the next great rivalry. Thank you, Caleb. He says he sent me a DM on Facebook. I'll check it out afterwards, Caleb. Thank you. And then Gray HV says he actually prefers Nashville Super Speedway to the Fairgrounds. I hope
Yeah,
the race
that's
is
a good
great in
deal.
June, but we'll see.
It's a nice place, and y'all might want to be paying attention to my channel next week.
Oh, that's
Good
right.
tease, good segue there. And then Nerd Talk with Shane and what's his full name? I don't have it cut off here. I want to make sure I get it. Oh no, it just went away. It doesn't show me your full name. I'm so sorry. But Shane says that the Fair Board votes will be in July, so we still have some time until anything gets confirmed. Alan is convinced NASCAR can save North Wilkesboro Speedway. We'll see if it happens. Thank you, Nicholas Gray. Danny, are you going to the Coke 600? And yes, I am excited for COTA. Where are you going to the Coke 600, Danny? And he also asked, where can he find the tent vendors?
Not going to Coke 600, but I've been there before. And when I went, they were kind of right outside, right around. Like there's a main intersection where a main road meets up with the other main road right in the middle. Of just kind of like right there, right around the front stretch area. You can't miss it.
Awesome. Thank you, Cameron Andrews. If there was a track you could add to the NASCAR schedule that will never be added, what would it be? For me, it would be the Monza Oval. Honestly, that kind of sounds fun. I don't know. Rainbow Road. Shit, I don't know.
Rainbow Road. I've raced that on NR 2003. It's a lot of
Baby
fun.
Park.
Road Atlanta.
I'd bring in the Groovy Gulch.
I like that. Nice.
I feel like Road Atlanta is never going to get added on, so I'll say that one.
That's not that exciting though. Like, that almost seems too realistic.
Well, you come on, let's be real. NASCAR be like, where Brad Keselowski broke his ankle.
Oh God.
No, yeah.
Yikes.
Thank you, Saint Denny. What do you guys think of Kyle Busch's comments about NASCAR at the end of the race? Do you think he'll get in trouble?
It's getting annoying. It's getting. I've noticed that NASCAR. He basically NASCAR said that his day ended. Yeah, ended worse. Well, the overall, I've noticed they've gotten very. I don't know how to describe it. Just kind of off with their marketing on social media. But that one is like his day ended out worse than it started, and it's like the dude finished third. Like,
yeah, like what are you talking about?
But yeah, I think that's part of a much larger problem overall. We can talk about some other time.
And then thank you, Groovy Goose.
Eric, did you just swear something? Everyone's saying
I might have under my breath. I apologize. Disney cast members don't curse. I'm not a Disney. Don't sign my paychecks anymore.
Hi, it's the NASCAR Weekly Podcast, and you're watching Disney Channel.
Yeah, thank you, Groovy Goose. Since Fox is marketing this season as the best one ever, do you think how does this season compare to seasons since you've all been fans? I think it's been okay.
It's certainly
top half.
Yeah, definitely a top half, and we're only 12 races in, so who knows where it'll be towards the end of the year.
Out of winners, so
yeah,
it's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while since we've experienced that.
Thank you guys for all those super chats. We'll get to the rest at the end, hopefully, but we do have at least one other story to talk about before we get into our predictions, and we're already closing in at 2 hours, and I gotta pee, so we're gonna rock and roll here for a moment. But thank you guys so much for the support. Next up, we can talk about this just a little bit, but we alluded to it earlier. After Sheldon Creed won the truck race Friday night in an unsponsored truck, you had some people tweeting that, Marcus Lemonis, Campbell, you guys should be sponsoring Sheldon Creed. He's too good. Marcus Lemonis says that we've offered, but they said no. Sheldon Creed replied with, we're worth more than $15,000. Got everyone up in arms. I heard Marcus Lemonis was in one of those Twitter racing spaces last night, kind of giving some of his side of the story. In my opinion, he sounded like he still was kind of missing the overall point that people had been making. But needless to say, obvious Marcus Lemonis has done a lot of good for a lot of teams this year. But there's been some criticisms as well that perhaps by publicizing that $15,000 number, that maybe he's sort of poisoned the market for some teams who are used to getting more than that for deals. Now it's hard for them to ask for more since everyone knows that they only get $15,000. It's hit or miss. From team to team, it's different. But what did you guys make of the public little mini spat between Sheldon Creed and Marcus Lemonis?
So basically, the incompetence of both people on the sides were pretty much exposed. I mean, first off, Marcus Lemonis, in a public setting on Twitter, basically is throwing out all of these numbers, and like you said, he's basically poisoned the well in terms of trying to get sponsorships on that end. But on the other side, GMS, so let me get this straight, GMS. You're one of the top Truck Series teams. Your best driver is he's the defending 2020 Truck Series champion in Sheldon Creed, and you can't get him a single you basically can't get him enough funding to for at least some races. You know what I mean? So it's basically on their side, it's y'all have done. I don't think y'all have clearly haven't done the best job in trying to market your drivers, trying to get some funding.
No, absolutely, yeah.
I think that while I think both of them are at fault here, I really think that the majority isn't on Lemonis, in my opinion. Yes, he shouldn't have put the numbers out there. That definitely will poison the market for a lot of the bigger teams. But at the same time, it's not like he had to do this.
No,
right?
no.
He went out there and basically said, hey, you don't have a sponsor? put Camping World on it, and I'll give you this much, which in the definition, by definition would be sponsoring, but it's definitely not like his intent. Oh, I'm going to sponsor all these trucks. And I was getting very annoyed and I think it was Saturday when all this was going down. I was getting very annoyed by people being like, yeah, well, he's worth this, and this, and he only gave this much. Why can't he pay more? And it's like, he's paying $15,000 more than they would have gotten anyway, which while not good is still a lot better than they'd be doing. Now, I know that it's not going to cover every damn cost. But I think Tommy Joe Martins, he chimed in on it on Twitter and said, well, if these teams didn't do as much needless spending as they do, and he was talking about when he ran a truck team, that would cover a lot more than people are saying. It's not drops in the bucket like a lot of people are saying. I feel like, a lot of people were saying NASCAR fans love to spend money when it's somebody else's, and this is a perfect example of it. For the fan side of it. That's really where my focus was, the fan side, and the incompetence of GMS to not sponsor a champion.
Seeing some of the, the drivers, who have honestly been grateful and have benefited for this kind of sponsorship, though, does it start to diminish a Camping World sponsor as a pity sponsor?
Hey, we can't get sponsors, so we have to get the guy to sponsor us. I know what you mean.
It's maybe is a weird thing. We've all noted, everyone's noticed it, but if you go onto Twitter any day of the week, there's a very good chance you'll see a driver or a team or
Camping World want to sponsor me.
Yeah, or in some cases, the Superstar Racing Experience putting one of those tweets out saying, hey, at Camping World, want to do something? So it gets a little tiresome. So yeah, I think there is something to be said for that. Is it's viewed as sort of, if you have Camping World on your car or truck, we all know it was kind of a last-ditch effort. And that's the point you're making, Jared, and that we've kind of been making is you probably know that Marcus Lemonis didn't pay full price for that because he's sort of coming in last minute. Again, 15,000. That's true. I think that is true. 15,000 is better than zero. But one point Tommy Joe Martins made that I think he at least missed. One point I think he kind of missed is, to him, if he got $15,000 a race every race, I think he said that would fill their whole budget for the year. That would hit their mark, his sponsorship mark for the year. The problem is, a championship truck series team. If you're telling me a championship truck series team is worth $15,000, I'm sorry, but 25th place Xfinity Tommy Joe Martins, you're not worth $15,000. That's what I'm being told there. That's what I'm being told. If a top team in NASCAR is worth $15K, then the 25th place teams, the Norm Bennigs, you're not worth $15,000. So there's a trickle down effect there, perhaps, that I think some people aren't noting. But at the same time, that is my only issue, is that he made a lot of these numbers public. I think that hurts some teams in ways that he is unwilling to admit. But at the same time, I think Marcus Lemonis' support of the truck series cannot go, cannot be underappreciated or understated. He's obviously helped a lot of teams out. He's helped the series out. He's helped NASCAR out. And when I was listening to him a little bit during that Twitter Spaces thing he jumped into last night, he kept reiterating that he's been around. Camping World's been around. They've been a loyal supporter of NASCAR and different teams for 15, 20 plus years at this point. He deserves a ton of credit for that. That's great. We need more sponsors, more investors like Marcus Lemonis in the sport. That's great. But that my only nitpick is with that little details. I just think he calls Sheldon Creed unprofessional and GMS unprofessional. I think that's arguably true. I think Lemonis has also done some things that I don't think needed to be made public.
Here's the thing though. They weren't complaining early in the season when they accepted the offer. What changed in the past couple weeks of not being sponsored?
I don't know.
What changed?
That's a good point.
They didn't complain at Las Vegas. And in my opinion, at least from how I see it, I don't think this was meant for championship level trucks. You look at the majority of the ones that have been sponsored.
It's meant for back markers.
It's Norm Benning, it's Jordan Anderson, and all respect to Jordan, but his team is not a championship contending truck team. He'll tell you that. This wasn't intended for championship level people. And I think this took off more from that one weekend than I think a lot of people were thinking and intending.
And it blew up in his face, basically.
I will say though,
I don't think it did.
Sheldon Creed is obviously going to be your GMS's flagship driver. He's the one who's got a little bit more value on him and everything. But they just released someone like Rafael Lassard because the funding wasn't there. When there's a guy who's saying, "Hey, I'll fund you. Just tell me if it's okay."
It's just once you just keep throwing out all these dollar signs, hey, I'll give you this much and shit. Then I feel like at some point some of these teams are gonna get really greedy too and start asking for more too. And then like you said, I felt like the this whole deal originally, at least in my mind, was I felt like, okay, this will probably last maybe a few weeks here and there and stuff. And then, some of these back marker teams will, they might get some money out of this. I don't know. But hey, at least they'll have something on the truck, right? And now it's gotten to the point where it's like, oh, like it's like some of these bigger teams have been approached and stuff in the past too. And they're just straight up declining it.
Begging. The begging.
Yeah, begging. Yeah, that's not a good
pathetic.
look. Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Downright pathetic. It's like, it's like if we're gonna compare like to stick and ball sports, because I know a lot of people will do that. It's like if somebody who's a mid-level player is starting to beg Nike for like a minimum.
Oh, that's just
Like,
it's not a
it
good
just-
look.
It looks bad.
It doesn't look good. I won't call it pathetic because we all know racing is a ruthless industry. Every dollar goes a long, long way.
It
and
wasn't
it's extremely
at
important.
first. It is now.
I-
It's been
well,
10 weeks.
I will say when the SRX put out one of those tweets, I was like, good. I did roll my eyes. I was like, are you kidding me now?
Oh, come on.
What are y'all
Hey,
doing?
at least they got progressive though, so at least
Oh,
they're
yeah, good
winning.
for
in
They got
that.
flow.
Yeah, they got flow at least, but damn, they were like, hey, can we have some money, man? Like everyone's just asking Marcus Lemonis for money now. Like, come on.
Well, I feel like it's
What?
like, when you're like 16 and you just walk up with your hands in your pockets. Hey, Mom, can I have $20 to go to the movies with my
Yeah,
friends?
I feel like it's like
That's
hey
what
mom,
it
can I have
looks
some
like.
gas money, please? You know what I mean? Like yeah,
Well,
like
and with social media being so prevalent, with all of this happening in public on social media, optics are a huge part of the sport now, like more than ever, in my opinion. That's why I keep saying that 30,000 people packed in a state and in the stands looks better than 30,000 people spread over 70,000 seat arenas. It just looks better.
I think that's true.
So
yeah.
Absolutely.
So basically, in conclusion, don't beggars can't be choosers. By the way, beggars can't be choosers. Just saying. And I don't know if this stuff continues. Like I don't know. I feel like we might have maybe a similar incident like this. Maybe
well, that's
I don't
why
know.
you put the 100,000 up. I guarantee you, someone will be desperate enough towards the end of the season to take that offer.
Somebody will take it.
I think someone will be desperate enough towards the end of the year to take it.
And I think that was
Yeah.
part of Marcus Lemonis' point is Sheldon Creed won that race. If he had theoretically put Camping World colors for 15,000, he would have made 100,000 by winning that race. So it's a new what am I trying to say? It's a new not market. It's a new business model, I guess. It's a new model of sponsorship that we haven't seen before, at least not to this extent. I don't know.
They're like, we know our worth. Well, our worth definitely wasn't enough that we knew that we were going to be in contention for a win, though.
They're not quite fortune tellers, no.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah.
on that note, we can move on. I know many people have been clamoring for this. We're closing in on 2 hours. It's time to talk Dover, the Monster Mile. Growing up, this is one of my favorite tracks. I've always thought it was kind of underrated. They lost a date this year. I'm not that sad about it.
Oh
but
yeah, they did. That's dude. Wow. No, Dover only having one race. That's
know.
gonna be weird.
Miles
Wow.
is getting lonely over there, but this weekend he won't be. He'll have thousands of his best friends in town. So
See, this wasn't really my most favorite race growing up as a kid because either Johnson or Gordon, like they would just be up front and just
That's true.
dominate. And I'm just like, oh man, like so Hendrick Carr is gonna win here. As a kid, always growing up.
I can feel that. I understand that. Well, the Cup race will be on FS1. Radio will be MRN. It'll start at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday. So beautiful. The Xfinity Series will race this weekend as well. Their race is Saturday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, also on FS1, and the radio will be MRN. For Saturday's Xfinity Series race, the temperatures are good, 40% chance of showers, but 73 degrees. Same for Sunday, almost 71 degrees are the average temps. 55% chance of rain in the afternoon, so we might be flirting with some weather disasters. Doesn't sound like it's going to be a total wash or anything like that, but we might have to play the waiting game periodically. Hopefully that concrete surface dries out quickly. Also, as far as COVID news is concerned, they are expected to host a 37% capacity crowd, which means roughly 20,000 spectators, and they have sold out of tickets. I did see some people saying that like they had bought tickets and ended up getting turned away, so it sounds like they actually sold more than 20,000, but they had to narrow it down because of local restrictions, unfortunately. But still, it's going to be a very rowdy crowd, I'm sure, up there in Delaware. Let's get to picks. Actually, first, before we get to that, we have to talk about the pick points currently. Jarrett took that huge lead a couple weeks ago by sweeping the weekend. I've caught back up. I'll give myself some credit. I caught back up this weekend. So right now, Jarrett leads our current standings. He has 171 total points. I'm 2 points back. Then the chat, Oh, you crazy people down there are 16 points back. Fourth is Danny, minus 19. Darian, you're back in fifth, minus 28. That face. Well, I didn't see that one before. Meanwhile, our guests, who we haven't really had that many guests lately, so that's maybe our fault. But the guests are slacking. They're 40 points back in last place currently. Darian, what's it going to take to turn things around?
Just not sucking, but I don't know. It's been a bad few weeks here.
And by the way, folks, we do have guest picks this week. We've got our good pal Rusty Walrus, who has submitted picks for the week.
Thank you. It was my roommate last week, and obviously he didn't help.
He gained points.
Oh, he did? Oh, okay, well, he's still in the bag. But,
yeah, nice. All right, well, we'll jump right in. We'll start with the Xfinity Series race. Who are y'all's picks to win? Who wants to go first?
I will go first on this one, and I am going with Mr. Justin Allgaier, a 7-car. Is going to go to victory lane. Won here last year, and he's going to get the win here this year as well.
Yeah, he's definitely won here before. Austin Cindric, can't go wrong with that pick. Austin Cindric, he's going to win. Going to win.
I'll go.
Is Ty Gibbs racing?
He is racing, yes. What's your pick, Jarrett?
Allgaier.
Okay.
I'm still going Allgaier. I like Ty Gibbs, but
Allgaier is good here.
I'm going to take a safe bet on this one.
Well, then you're freeing me up to go all in with my. I'm actually going with Austin Cindric as well this weekend. Austin Cindric. Last year he finished second and third in the 2 races here last year. I think he gets that extra spot and wins it this time. So I'm going with Cindric. Chat. Where do you guys go? Wait, first off, while I'm reading the chat, Danny, who did Rusty Walrus pick as his Xfinity winner?
He also went with Austin Cindric.
Everyone's
I might have gone Gibbs.
Surprisingly, not Noah Gregson.
The chat, I'm going to make this quick. Sorry, chat, because we got still a lot to get to. You guys look like you're going Ty Gibbs. I think the chat picked Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, I see Gibbs.
All right, we're putting Gibbs in now.
I'm just going with first impressions. Whatever I see in the chat, first things we see, that's what y'all are going with. So while Jarrett gets that down, let's move on to the Cup Series. Who went first? Danny, who is your pick to suck on Sunday?
Sucking this Sunday, I've got the 48 car. It's done good there in the past, but it's been a pretty unlucky time, and it's not gonna be good. Hey, last time I picked him to suck, he won. So
I was gonna say you've picked him to suck like 3 times this year. You're so like down.
He's not good. He's not doing good this year. Not like that. He's got his one win, but dang, if he didn't have that, he'd be below the cut line. That's for sure.
Who's your suck pick then, Darian?
Oh, it's Bowman too. I was gonna say that. Yeah. Here's the thing though. Bowman, he's very hit or miss at Dover here, I feel like. In 2019, he finished runner-up to Truex, and it looked like he was about to get his first career victory before Chicagoland that year. So, I don't know. He's very hit or miss, but, I mean, he's been mostly missed this year. So, hey, Bowman.
All he can do is surprise me and make me happy now at this point. So.
Yeah.
Keep your expectations
so a top 10.
low.
A top 10 will feel like a win this week.
Jared, I think I know who you're picking. Who you got?
I'm going to go with the guy who's sitting, I believe, 14th in points, Michael McDowell.
Wow.
I think this package isn't going to suit him very well at a track like Dover.
I thought you were continue to hit the low-hanging fruit of Eric Almirola for like the.
That's too easy.
That's so easy.
Okay.
I feel like I'm putting him in the same category now as like Corey LaJoie and Anthony Alfredo. You just expect
Michael
it.
McDowell is like a whole tier above Eric Almirola now. Is that what we've come to?
See, picking him for like this who's gonna suck pick is like taking candy from a baby. Like you don't feel good about him. Like,
I'm saying I'm not putting Almirola in that top 27, the competitive teams in NASCAR who could come up. I don't think he is.
But you are putting McDowell because you're saying he's your suck pick.
McDowell is currently would be in the playoffs off of points right now.
I just want to hear. I just like hearing. I don't like hearing. I don't take pride in this, but it's funny to hear that Michael McDowell is like 2 notches above an SHR car. Right
He's at the same tier right now as Spire.
That's crazy.
That's kind of how I see him right now.
Hey, that team won the 2019 Coke 0400. Put some respect on Spy. All right, forget it. This is super stupid. All right, my suck pick is Kurt Busch. I think we said earlier he's 20th in points right now. It has not been a great year for Kurt Busch, but the last couple weeks his teammate Chastain has actually outran him, which has been quite shocking. I think that trend might continue this weekend.
And maybe that's the sign for Kurt Busch to take himself out to pasture. It's done.
Whoa.
Call it a day.
Whoa.
That's what I mean, retiring, of course, but in a more dramatic way.
Very dramatic. Who's Rusty's pick? While I look at the chat, the chat seems to be going Almirola.
Dang, there, and I didn't think I was going there, but
Just retire, bro.
so this one might be a little bit surprising considering how much he likes this guy. But Rusty said Blaney will suck this weekend.
Wow, he's bought into your philosophy, Danny. Pick your favorite guy to suck, and sky's the limit.
Yeah.
The chat, it's between Christopher Bell and Almirola, but I think it's one guy spamming Bell, so I think it's Eric Almirola.
Yeah, Almirola. Yeah, I was looking at that. You
All
see, we can tell when you guys spam something or not. So.
I usually have a timer. I forgot to put on like the delay. Anyway, whatever. Underdog picks. Danny, who's your underdog pick for your dark horse for Dover?
My underdog. It's funny you mentioned him just a few minutes ago, but I'm actually going to say Ross Chastain is my underdog for this one.
I'm going to go with Chase Briscoe. He showed me something. I'm not saying he'll get it like a top 10, but if he can get a top 15, that's progress. I mean, coming off the P11, his best finish so far this year. I want to see some progress over there. So Chase Briscoe, don't let me down, please.
All right, I'm on the same train, different car. Cole Custer was finishing towards the top 10 in both Dover races last year. I think he's a dark horse. He can get a top 15.
That's a good pick. I didn't even look at this guy's Dover stats, but just recently he's 12th in points. Austin Dillon has been quietly very consistent this year. Doesn't seem to matter what type of track it is. I think he'll sneak into the top 10, make a little bit of noise in the stages, and do his normal thing. So
wasn't great for my pick last week.
Well, you picked him to win. I wouldn't go that far.
I was using my point lead.
Yeah, he was using it.
I was gambling, and I crashed and burned.
Chat seems a bit split. Who did Rusty pick as his underdog?
His underdog is teammates to who I picked. He's going with Kurt Busch for underdog.
I've seen a lot of Bushers for the chat.
Yeah, I do see a lot of Bushers, although now they've kind of gone away, but I've also seen some Jones. No, there's a lot of Bush. Yeah, I think it's probably Busher. It's close, but I think it's Chris Busher. Write that down.
He was the other person I was debating on for this, but I ended up going to Ross.
Next year, we should honestly try and incorporate like picks for the dark horse and suck.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's figure out a way to calculate that.
We'll
but
figure it
now,
out.
Darian, we've made it to the end. What time is it? Who's going to what this weekend?
Who's going to win?
He broke it again.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Did I break it?
I think it's okay.
You
You sound normal again.
Don't breathe
All right,
on
break it.
Don't breathe on it too heavily.
Who's going to win? Who's going to win at Dover?
Danny, kick us off here. Who you got?
I am going with. He can't keep going this long. It's Denny Hamlin. This is the week where he finally gets it. Denny Hamlin
Really?
will rely at Dover.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised. That pick surprises me.
Yeah, you know what? I picked him last week. Let's go with him again. Chase Elliott. He'll be the 11th different winner, right?
11th.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
11th.
He'll be the 11th different winner of 2021. I got a feeling he's had some success here. So
I'm telling you, y'all are missing one that seems like a pretty obvious pick. Last time he raced here, he won, and now he's in a better car. Kyle Larson.
Oh, that's a good point.
I picked him to suck last week. I knew I know that's a mistake. I ain't making that mistake again. I'm taking him, Larson.
that's a good one.
Think about that, but you're right.
Yeah, honestly, he kind of slipped my mind too. No, I'll stick with the guy I picked. If Larson wins, I'll be happy
Hold
for
the
him.
line. Hold
But
the line.
I'm gonna go.
Going with Hamlin because he cannot go this long without a win.
I'm going with Martin Truex Jr. He finished second in both races here last year, and he's shown that kind of quiet Martin Truex dominance these last few weeks. I think he goes back-to-back, makes it 4, just starts blowing the field out at this point.
We got a Todd Blue pick in the chat.
Nice.
Who did our guest pick?
Yeah, who did the guest pick?
He went with. Hold on, let me get it back. Pull up. He went with Larson as well.
Oh, yeah. Great minds
Smart
think
man.
alike.
Smart man.
Yeah, the chat's a lot of Chase Elliott's, Truex's. It's probably between Elliott, Truex. Well, now there's some Larsons. Now there's a lot of Truex.
See, it's always split in the chat. Like I can never whenever I host them, I always have a tough time picking them.
Damn, that's going quick.
Yeah, there's they came out of the work. It might be Chase Elliott actually. I actually think it might be Chase.
Oh, might be.
It looks like Chase. I'm gonna go Chase.
All right, you guys are with me, same boat as me. So
Yeah,
let's do it.
So we got Gibbs versus Hendrick as the win pick.
Yeah,
pretty
much.
consistently. Yeah, wow. Well, awesome. Sweet deal. Well, we'll see if any major shakeups occur between this week and next week in our standings. Before we go, we'll be on Danny B Talks' channel next Wednesday. We'll be later next weekend because that's next week because that's the Circuit of the Americas Pro Invitational race. So we'll be actually going live at 9 p.m. Eastern instead of 8 p.m. Eastern time. And we are expected to be joined by Nashville Super Speedway track president Eric Moses, who Darian and Danny, you've already gotten the chance to talk to a little bit.
Yeah, he's
So
a
that's
pretty
really
cool
awesome.
guy, pretty chill, pretty laid back.
I will go ahead and say this. A lot of y'all remember my video back in 2019, the rise and fall of Nashville Super Speedway. It obviously got a lot of attention when it first came out, but it got a lot more attention last year when it was announced that the track would actually be coming back. Well, now on Monday, I will be releasing out finally the rise again of Nashville Super Speedway, in which I'm going to be giving you guys pretty much a full-on tour of the newly renovated Nashville Super Speedway, as well as a sit-down interview with myself and Eric Moses that I want all of y'all to be sure to go and check out over on my channel. It's going to go out probably about 9 a.m. Eastern time on Monday morning, and it'll be ready for you guys to watch. And then we will also be joined again live with Eric Moses on Wednesday night. And, maybe the other guys can come up with some questions that I didn't think of when I was out there with them.
Fat chance we probably won't. I think you could probably cover all the bases in it.
Yeah, I think like he was asking them, and I was like, oh yeah, like podcast, we have nothing. I don't think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Danny B covered all the ground, but we'll be able to ask him any sort of follow-ups. Chat, you guys will surely get creative, I'm sure. Very excited though to have Nashville Super Speedway president Eric Moses with us next week. Now, we do have to get through. I'm going to blow through these super chats at the end here. Really do appreciate the support, but this episode has already gone quite long, and we have a lot to react to here. But Scott McNew, thank you. He says, this might be crazy, but in the next 7 weeks, I'll be attending a race in some form of capacity. Sounds like a beautiful summer to me. NASCAR Dippin' Sauce asks if he can sing the Out of the Groove theme for one episode. No.
No.
Adam, thank you. SHR is taking lessons from Haas F1. That's why they're trash. Nice.
Yeah.
Does the Out of the Groove theme song actually have lyrics?
No, I'm assuming he's gonna hum it. Do 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 do.
Yeah, it's just a funny tune.
We'll come up with one when we were at Nashville. It's country music capital of the world. We'll make a country music rendition of the Out of the Groove theme. Anyway, later. That's for a later time. Cody says you guys should do a driver talent show, best to worst. Quick, who's the most talented driver in NASCAR today?
I was about to say Larson is, I guess you could say.
I was actually leaning. This is gonna sound crazy. I was leaning Harvick or Hamlin, but Larson would have been my top three.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess we're talking about Raw Town at least. He's my favorite.
Overall, yeah, outside of just NASCAR, definitely. Edible Giraffe, thank you. I've heard people say the Iceberg looks like the Dillon brothers. What drivers do the other three look like?
A lot of people say that I look like Spencer Boyd, and I can see.
Sorry, I don't know why that's funny to me.
I keep getting like this mix of like. At first, people said Bubba, but then I'm like, I don't know. But then like some others were they were saying Sir Hamilton. I was like, oh yeah, let's go with that.
Royalty.
Yeah, I've seen that a little bit.
Arcane Draconis, thank you for the 20. I really appreciate that. What would it take to get a movement going for a massive Daytona Charger-like wing on the back of the cars for the throwback race? If not the gimmick race, aka the All-Star race, can we organize this, please?
Well, SRX already has that.
Oh,
Yeah. There you go.
Fantastic. No, that would, why not throw even more gimmicks at it at this rate? Tyler Tinsley says Harvick sucks. Spin the UFO. Daniel says,
leave him alone.
Make NASCAR great again. True Hyper Dark Sonic says Harvick dog water. I don't even know what that means. TVP 83. If you guys need a guest picker this week, I can volunteer. Dang it, we already got Rusty's. But TVP, leave just a normal comment who your win pick is.
And by the way, to that last super chat, dog water, it means he's like booty. I guess he sucks pretty much.
I imagine that's a negative thing. Ryan Blaney is Rainbow Road said, did I hear Rainbow Road? Yes. Alan says bring back Rockingham. Bruton Smith is a billionaire. He can do it. SMI has hundreds of millions of revenue, so why is this even an issue? I mean, I don't think one thing billionaires don't like doing is losing money.
Yeah, they don't like spending money neither. No, yeah.
So it'd have to be a worthwhile investment to him. Another one from Ryan Blaney is Rainbow Road. Says Rusty Walrus offends him. I guess that's because he picked Blaney to suck. Bake the Snake. Dover winner will either be Truex or someone new. There won't be another repeat winner. Okay. And then the last two here. TVP reminds us to get Eric Moses' guest pick for next week. We'll have to make sure
Oh
we do
yeah,
that.
we got to make sure we do that.
And Eric Esparza with the last
Probably
super
just
chat.
say pick Bowman because of the ally.
Oh yeah,
Smart
probably.
man. If he knows what he's doing. Eric Esparza wraps it up asking, "Will Bubba win?" Wow, what a philosophical question.
Not this season. No, not certainly not this season. I don't think.
Well, maybe someday. And actually, Preston just dropped in. How long do you think Byron can keep that top 10 streak going?
I think he can get it to 15, 16. Caps at
There's
16.
so many super chats. GN, Eric, do a live stream with that NASCAR trivia game you opened yesterday. That would be fun. I need to do that, and also this puzzle. Someone sent me a Matt Kenseth jigsaw puzzle.
That. Yep, I seen
We're
that.
gonna put this together on a stream, or we'll put this together in Nashville.
Bring it to
together, guys.
Nashville. Yeah, I was about to say.
Just
Isn't
almost
that,
dropped
oh
it.
gosh. Isn't that like the Jeff Burton puzzle that I found at that?
It is, yeah, basically.
And TVP says his win pick is Chase Elliott. So he agrees with at least with you, Darian, and a couple others. Will Kyle Busch win again? Dalton asks. Probably. He
But
won't.
yeah.
Yeah, he'll win.
Yeah, what
Yeah,
the
he'll win
These
again.
questions are ridiculous. Thank you guys for the super chats. I don't mean to rush through them, but we did get a ton tonight. That's amazing to see how much support this show has been getting lately. Y'all are extremely generous. But that is going to do it for tonight's episode. Oh, there you got the Jeff.
There's the puzzle. No, there's the puzzle right there.
Just slap myself.
And I already have the itinerary for next week ready to
Already
go.
done.
Itinerary.
The itinerary.
Alrighty.
Fully armed and operational itinerary.
That's going to do it for another edition of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. We'll see you next week, an hour later, but same time Wednesday night on Danny B Talks' channel. Go and play us out there, Jarrett. Yeah. That was kind of choppy. The Symphony of...
That was good. That was all right. That was all right.
Okay. Yeah. Is the outro
Bye,
going?
guys.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
bye. Is it going?
Goodbye.
Goodbye.